On this episode of the Star Wars Time Show, the Dude Bros will talk new Legos, Black Series, and TVC figures before delving into some Squadrons gameplay reveals and a new SWTS event. They'll also discuss some rumors surrounding Star Wars and Disney+, in particular, the shared universe being created for it. They'll also have some fun with another listicle on Star Wars ships before moving on to the fan segment in which the new non-Force user battle bracket will be revealed, along with the top choices for the new name to call our superfans. Don't forget about the top 5 Star Wars fan art features of the week either, people. Cue the music. Hey now, everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Star Wars Time Show. No, I do not have a problem with speaking today. I'm just trying to change things up. Actually, I don't know what the fuck's going on. We have all green lights or go. Excellent connection. We're doing this live. Liam gets the medal for being the first of the soon-to-be possibly former assholes group of fans to join the live stream. Thanks, Liam. We speak your name.
The only true fan.
That's right. All you guys, all the rest of you are true assholes. Hey, there we go. We got H Green is in there too. What is up, 1313? So as you heard by the sexy voiced announcer, who, spoiler alert, is me. We got a lot to talk about today. I wouldn't say anything's too juicy in terms of future Star Wars storytelling, but in terms of the universe that was crafted for us to play in, to talk in, to shoot in, it's been fleshed out a bit since the last time we talked. So we got some new toys to talk about, Legos, video games, not just Squadrons, a big announcement, a big update to SWTS. You know, that's near and dear to our hearts here at the Star Wars Time Show. We've got some obvious shit going on with Disney Plus that Nick's going to school everyone on, plus the new and improved fan segment that we'll do at the end of the show, just in case those of you that don't want your balls sucked by the Star Wars Time Show want to leave before we get into said ball sucking. During the Ball Suck Fest, we're not only going to do the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week, Nick, but we're also going to introduce your latest battle bracket.
Yep.
And this week's question of the week, which just so happens to revolve around our loyalists, the assholes, or who may soon become something besides the assholes, or they'll remain the assholes. But more on that during the fan segment. So let's go ahead and get into our first topic here, and it's toy based. So we always like to start with the collectible stuff here on the Star Wars Time Show. But it was yesterday, and then just today, Nick, these went live for pre-order. But Hasbro did a special Fan Something Monday, where they announced some new TVC figures. For those keeping score, that is the vintage collection. What's going on? We got more people. Oh, look at that. Sir Dork, the GOAT, is in here live.
There we go.
As he says, finally. What's going on, Jared? Then we got Klondike joined up and Joker Beats Bats. Welcome to the shit show. Yes, that is the new abbreviation for the Star Wars Time Show. It abbreviates to shit show, right? If you spell SWTS, it actually spells shit.
Yeah, that's how it works. I agree.
But Nick, I mean, again, this really isn't your specialty, but I think you can appreciate some of the improvements we've been getting from Hasbro when it comes to their little pieces of plastic. So, as I was saying, they introduced some new TVC collectibles. This is the vintage collection. For you, Nick, these would be the little ones, you know, like my penis size figures, the 3 3/4 inch. Okay. So not too large, wow, flaccid. But we got some new reveals. I think some were existing. Either way, I want to point out, not cheer it. I mean, Leia here looks kind of creepy.
I was gonna say Leia's face now, like, are they using their new face paint technology?
I think so,
figures?
But dude, this looks like a CG render. Like, I don't even think this is a product shot.
It does. It says digitally rendered image, not representative final product. Look at that, Hasbro.
Which is good. I mean, this is like someone, again, an intern fucked up the marketing materials for this reveal or something. They weren't ready, because Leia looks a little goofy, but my man Cheer It, and this actually is the figure here.
Yep.
Mind you, this is a teeny tiny little figure, man. Like not even 4 inches tall. That is impressive, what they've achieved with Mr. The Force is with him. He is with the Force, right?
Yeah, that looks really, really good in the face. I mean, in the articulation in the arms, the weapon. Is that even like a soft?
Oh
goods
yeah, look at that. They're even giving
too?
his skirt some cloth. So I was impressed with that by this TVC, which I don't collect TVC. Most of us started as 3 3/4 inch collectors because that's all you used to be able to get until the Black Series line. I have not gone back to the little guys since The Force Awakens. I did collect. No, I'm sorry. Rogue One. I did collect the little guys for Rogue One, but have stopped since. But what I was going to say here, this is what I'm impressed about. Not this Stormtrooper. They look great, but this set right here. This Bespin or Cloud City carbon freezing chamber set, dude. Especially for those of us that like to take these things out of the box, as you should, and sometimes even take sexy pictures of them. This set is fucking dope, dude. I mean, look at that. That is a thing of beauty.
It looks really awesome, and I can already see some imaginative shots or some scene recreations happening with this little diorama here, this little setup that you would get. And I mean, it does. It's a really well made setup here from something that is so small of a scale. I mean, you see the little Stormtrooper standing on the platform as well. So I can imagine that the 3 3/4 inch crowd will have fun with this new little, this little dio that they have. Kingdom of Weird is the 3 3/4 guy that pops up in my head every time we talk about it. But this is some pretty
he's
cool
a big one.
stuff.
I think XL Captures is another one we've come across that does 3 3/4 inch. Skeleton Astronaut's another one the community may have heard of, but when I saw this, dude, I just went like, man, I wish Hasbro would take a gamble on 6 inch or 1/12 scale sets like this.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we've gotten creative, and by we, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the likes of the toy photographers out there that do have some creativity baked into their brains naturally, where they've recreated some of the carbon freezing chamber using a mix of digirama, self-made props from other toys and lights. But for a lazy asshole like me, I would love nothing more to just buy something like this in a box, assemble it, put it on my shooting desk, and then get to work.
Yeah, that seems a lot easier than having to go through the trouble of either building your own diorama from nothing, or stitching together all these different pieces. If you were to try to do that, you may break your shooting desk in half. Like if you try to assemble something yourself, Nick, from disparate pieces.
It's funny you bring up breaking my shooting desk in half, because I actually do have a story. So last Thursday, it was late, because we were talking. I was busy. You had to cover the Squadrons thing. Yep. And this is kind of how I become with my toy photography, where I was just like, hey, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going downstairs. I've got a box of figs. I'm going to shoot that fucking hyper-real Luke. I'm doing it. Right? Come down, start setting stuff up, and I'm already second-guessing myself. Like, what am I doing? I don't want to be doing this. Why am I doing this shit? I really don't want to be doing this shit. Get everything set up. First and foremost, my first setup isn't even hyper-real Luke, so I've already failed in my mission. I come down and I see hyper-real Vader. I'm like, I love you too much. I'm going to go ahead and put you in the frame here. So to make a long story short, I'm setting up this shot, and I do get hyper-real in eventually. It's going to be like a dual shot between the two. Setting it up, staging my lights. Like when I'm inside, I put a big focus on lighting. So I'll light a light, see what it looks like in my viewfinder, tweak it, go back and forth until I get it to look the way I want to. So this went on for probably 30 fucking minutes for one shot, to where I finally get stuff lined up. And what happens? What fucking happens? One of the new cats comes downstairs, runs up on the shooting table, and literally fucking Godzilla's my entire setup. Gone! I'm talking the lights, the figures, the background, everything tumbles over. Nothing is in place anymore. And at that moment, I seriously considered quitting this fucking hobby for good, selling all my fucking toys to the assholes, and just moving on with my life. But I didn't. I reset it back up. And here's the kicker. Took another 20 minutes to get everything set back up. Obviously is never going to look like the pristine setup I had before the fucking cat knocks it over. Go to take the shot again, and fucking Vader falls over and dominoes the rest of the fucking shoot. So it's like, it's literally the universe is out there saying, hey, dickhead, this isn't for you. This is a sign. The cat was a sign. Vader falling was your second sign. What else do you need? So after that one, this is where the whole, when you reminded me about break my table comes in. I grab, no shit, I have a Rambo Bowie knife. Grab it and whaggo! Right through the fucking table. I mean, they're like IKEA particle board tables. If I could move my camera, I would show you. I'll take a picture after the cast and post it to our account. But my shooting table now has a big punch print and a Bowie knife stab to it. So, but I did end up finishing a shoot and getting some shots. I don't know if I'll ever edit them. They're sitting on the iPad right now. But I'm not kidding. Like last Thursday, this is another one where I should bring my wife on the cast. I'm pretty sure she was getting ready to call the fucking loony bin to come with a straitjacket and lock me up. Like I almost started crying. Like I'm sitting down here like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? Why? Why? I mean, I'm so dramatic in the first place, and then just all that shit ramps me up. I mean, it was nuts, dude. Nuts.
I can literally see that happening in my head. Like, I think now, though, what you've done is you've just given your shooting table more character. Yeah. So now you can like build in, like there's a crater in the table and you could build shit around it. You can have like smoke coming out from the hole in the table.
Yeah. If I remember, I'll take a picture of my table after the show here and put it up on @StarWarsTimeShow Instagram just so people can see the damage. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the lockdown and all that shit's been, you know, has taken my patience and temper to new levels. But I was not having fun. I was not having fun at all, but I'm also someone that if I started something, I'm fucking finishing it. So I pushed through like a 3-hour shoot, just suffering mentally, having zero joy from it. But hey, we'll see if I get a good shot or two out of it. So sorry about that. Sorry to hijack our segment here. But when you mentioned shattering my photography table, I was like, well, Nick, believe it or not, I just kind of did a little bit of that last week. So
there we
go. That's why I need these pre-built diodes, so everything sets up nice. I don't have shit balancing on wires or other diorama objects. I mean, it's just such a joke. I mean, I had a Philips Hue light balancing on my Dagobah Customs bench from the Smuggler's Retreat. That fell over. I mean, it was crazy. So those asking in the chat, the cat is still alive. He's learned at this point in time when he starts seeing beams come out of my fucking eyes to run. So once the red lasers started coming out of my eyeballs, he hit the road. So he's all right. But anyways, back to this reveal. We did get some actual Black Series figures too, but I wouldn't say anything that is new. These are just a bunch of re-releases, and they're doing the re-release, Nick, not to jib people like me and prey upon their feelings of nostalgia to get them to rebuy figures. Who am I kidding? That's exactly what they're doing. These are all, you can get every one of these figures right now. This is just hey, we're going to put these on the oversized Kenner-looking card backs again for those in-box collectors that can't break themselves of that habit. So they have to buy these now to hang up on their walls. So that's what we're getting here. I mean, Dagobah Luke, you can already get. He actually comes with a Yoda in the other package. Vader's available. Fett's available literally 50 times over at this point. The Chewbacca, I will admit, looks like his face was improved considering that one, but I already have like 8 of the hairy beasts. Snow Trooper, same shit. And then probably the most impressive figure that Hasbro's put out recently, this Hoth Rebel Trooper. The difference here is he's going from a card back and getting one of the new mural boxes.
Yeah. I mean, this looks like a really good figure, honestly.
I just got mine. I got 2 of them. because I'm an asshole, mostly because you can change. He has two faces. I mean, it's crazy. You're essentially getting a figure arts type of figure for $20. Two faces, an accessory, guns, a backpack. So I had to get both.
There we go. Nice. A little bit more money on figures that may get smashed.
There you go. Or just never shot. Or just lay on a fucking table for ages to have my cats steal their accessories. That's also what I figured out with the cats. I had to apologize to my 4-year-old because I take the lightsaber blades out and shit. I don't keep them in my pictures just so it's one less thing I have to wipe when I want to put in my actual VFX saber. So, Nick, you can take them out of the handle.
Yep.
And I just lay him down my table thinking nothing of it. And I'm down here in the basement. I see one on the floor. I see one over by the couch. I'm like, what the fuck is Charlie doing? So one day I'm like, Charlie, quit taking shit off of daddy's toy table. Like, isn't that a great thing to say as a 40-year-old to a little kid?
This is daddy's toy
quit taking
table,
shit off your dad's toy table. So I'm blaming her for losing all this shit. And then I find the real culprit. It's the little girl cat loves picking up the lightsaber blades, carrying them around the basement like they're prey, and depositing them wherever she fucking feels like it.
Yeah. Having two cats, I know that is a favorite pastime. Is just taking stuff.
It's like they love random shit that could potentially kill them. Today, the little girl was playing with a chapstick lid. Like in her mouth, spitting it out, beating it around. Like, hey, that's why your brain is the size of a walnut. Yeah. Last thing on this, Nick, and then we'll move on because I've already went well over time for this topic. It should be sadly noted that Commander Cody is going to be the archive re-release based on fan votes.
Really?
So
wow,
it's fucking stupid. First and foremost, the initial Cody release looked great. He looked fine. He was a fucking clone, right? No face, so you didn't have to worry about the photoreal tech. I don't get it. I'm guessing people voted that way because of how hot the Clone Wars still was when the vote came out, or maybe they didn't have a chance to get him when he initially released. But in terms of getting an older figure and getting an improved version, I think this was a misstep by the fans, and I just want to call you all assholes for doing so.
Yeah, I mean, we all see what happens when fans vote on things just through our own
exactly
polls and stuff.
Exactly.
You have Obi-Wan Kenobi getting to the final round of a Force User Showdown. So, I mean, it's questionable. People have their convictions.
I mean, yes, I'm still going to get it. I hope they at least include a removable helmet like they do for Rex and Wolf. That way it will feel a little different, a little more special than the existing Cody. But I think we missed the mark there, fans. I mean, we could have got a much better looking Jyn Erso. We could have got a better looking half naked slave Leia, that type of stuff. But no, we went for a fucking clone trooper that's going to look exactly same as the initial release.
Good job, guys.
Sir Dork, you asshole. Thank you. We still love you, though, buddy. Sorry, Sir Dirk on the chat said he voted for him.
There we go.
All right, so that's that topic, Nick. Let's go ahead and we'll get on to a fun one here. It's still Black Series related, but thanks to homeboy over at Yakface, it looks like we are going to be getting at least 4 Black Series. Now, those are the 6-inch ones. 4 Black Series figures dedicated specifically to the Clone Wars final season, and I would even say, in particular, the Siege of Mandalore arc, so the last 4 episodes. All we have is just packaging data from Walmart's POS system. Ahsoka Loyalist Trooper, so that's probably going to be a 332nd with the orange paint. Sign me to fuck up. A season 7 Ahsoka. Hope to God it's her in her Mando garb with the 2 blue lightsabers.
That would be sick.
Sign me the fuck up. Clone Wars Mandalore Trooper. I really, really hope it's Gar Saxon with the nasty looking Maul helmet. But it may be a generic, but that would be okay as long as we truly get that Maul style helmet. And then a Night Owl Mandalorian. Again, I would like it to be named. I'd like it to be Bo or at least Ursa.
Ursa, right. Mm-hmm.
But even a generic with the right paint scheme would look great. But I mean, dude, these 4 figures could be the greatest Black Series figures released in 2020 if they do get released in 2020.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was, obviously the hugest thing to release in 2020 for Star Wars so far. We're likely not going to get any more new Star Wars content outside of the now completed Disney Gallery Mandalorian. But I mean, in specifically what they picked here was perfect. Like those orange helmets on the 332nd are so iconic now because of season 7, and they make you stand out as a clone trooper. I mean, that was, kind of your gripe with Cody was, well, he looks like everybody else. And then now at least you get the new paint scheme, you get the 332nds in figure form, so that's awesome. Season 7, Ahsoka, I think you're right though, because like if you don't pull off the Mando garb with the 2 lightsabers, then she just looks like Ahsoka from any other season.
See, what I do wonder, Nick, at least with Ahsoka, because if they keep the other 3 generic, big deal. I mean, they can either go with a more animated look or a more live action. I think the question is with Ahsoka, do they go for kind of how they styled her face in the Rebels Black Series figure we got, which is probably more of a live action look, or will they style it more animated? I'm thinking they're probably going to go more live action, but you don't know. I think it, and someone brought this up in the chat, who is Nico Tronus. I do wonder why they didn't include a Clone Wars Maul in this. Yeah,
right? I mean, Clone Wars Maul seems like a no-brainer, but I don't know if they don't see enough. I mean, there's a huge difference though, because what the other Black Series Maul is in episode 1.
Exactly,
right?
He's Darth Maul, so he still has his Sith attire on. He's got the Sith robe. Where the season 7 Maul, it's a completely different garb. He's got the metal legs.
The lightsaber's different.
Lightsaber's different. He's kind of letting a little bit of his chest show like a boss. So I don't know. It's odd that he didn't make the mix where Ahsoka did. You'd think if they're going to put her in that, he kind of earns a spot too. You don't need a Rex. We already got a great Rex. I really can't think of any other figures that would warrant. Maybe a Jesse would be a nice figure to have because he's got that money ass Imperial logo tattooed right on his helmet and face. I don't know. I hope to see these soon, and I hope to learn that these are going to be 2020 releases. They'll probably be fall or early 2021 at this point, but the prices are a little odd to me. I don't know if this is coming from a different country or what, but these are typically $19.99 figures, so who knows? Maybe they're getting extra shit packed in. Either way, I'm jazzed for these, and I hope these do come to fruition because I think these could be a 4-pack of amazing looking figs.
For sure. Yeah. Some awesome season 7 setups you can have with these figures. So jump on them when they come out, toy photographers, because I want to see what you can do.
There you go. And Nick is the man that gets you on the top 5. So tickle his taint, as he likes to say. We're not done with toys yet, and this gets me more excited than it would have a year ago, and that's the fact that we've got the final previews of the summer 2020 Lego sets. And for all intents and purposes, I was not into Lego at all. And I'm not saying I'm a Lego hater. I've always loved Legos. I love Lego movies, Lego games. I like the humor. I like the look and feel. But I didn't really do Legos myself until really about Christmas time 2019, when my kid out of nowhere said she wanted the Bespin or the Cloud City Lego set, which was massive. So Santa got that for her. We built it up, all that fun stuff, and now we have the Death Star, which I finally finished last week, Nick. The Lego Death Star is complete. We've got a table full of sets, Vader's castles, this, that, and the other thing. So I am now a Lego Star Wars super fan. So I was jazzed to see some of these new sets, get final prices and final images. We're not going to spend a ton of time on these, but I mean,
dude, the Knights of Ren transport ship looks pretty dope.
I know it's tiny, like the scale's off, but it's tiny. These days, I almost go to the sets that have the minifigures I'm looking for. So that first one right there, the 501, that's going to be a guaranteed pickup because you get all those 501 troopers.
Yeah.
Jedi Anakin's Interceptor, or to us, the ETA 1 or 2, the ETA 2?
ETA 2, yep.
Probably just because it's a unique looking Anakin minifig. All right, so you see where I'm at now.
He's got like the headset.
I've fully been ensnared by Lego's trap, where they sell you expensive sets just to get the minifigs. This one's going to be guaranteed. Next one, the Lego Star Wars AAT, which is based on Clone Wars. So you're going to get Clone Wars Lego Ahsoka, Clone Wars Lego 332nd. So it's like, yes, sign me up. There's Nick's right there again. I'm probably going to get because Knights of Ren minifigs.
Yep.
The Grievous. Okay, I got a question for you on this, Nick.
Yeah.
Riddle me how the fuck Grievous's Starfighter costs $80.
Is it like
it's a 487 piece set?
I was going to say that it doesn't seem like it's more pieces. It doesn't seem like it's any type of different than what you would get in any of the other sets.
Right.
Like,
look, dude, I mean, the Knights of Ren ship
is
$595, $69.99. $80 for a 487?
I don't know, dude. Does it like light up? Does it have like LED? Like, I don't know how they do that. It looks like the outside.
I mean,
is
maybe because you're
smoother.
getting some, again, wicked looking minifigs. I mean, I need a Grievous, so I'll probably be getting it, and I need one of these airborne clone troopers. But as 1/6 Shooter saying here in the chat, and I felt the same way when I saw these. I feel like Lego just added $10, $20 to their normal prices. It's like, hey, fuck it. Because these prices don't warrant the pieces, especially. I mean, the final dual set, $100, $775. All right, maybe. I don't know. So, and then obviously the Razor Crest, that's been out there. That's a must buy for me. You get the legit Baby Yoda, a Mando. The Galaxy's Edge transport, that was kind of a new reveal, Nick.
That's cool.
Those of you who've been to Edge, this is the transport you get in for the Ride of Resistance. And then the Advent calendar this year looks pretty legit. If anything, you're going to get a fucking Vader in a Christmas sweater. So
there we go. And then you got the AT-AT.
And then the AT-AT,
$60,
which probably I'm not going to lie, Nick. I may have to get all these.
I mean,
maybe outside of the Death Star final duel, because the Death Star just built essentially has a miniature version of this.
Okay.
But the other ones for the minifigs, I may have to get suckered into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's something fun for you and Charlie to do. I mean, I know that you do it, but eventually Charlie will be old enough to probably at least assist you a little bit.
She loves playing with them, though, so I do have that going for me to justify some of the money. I haven't been able to fully realize my dreams of becoming a Lego toy photographer just because I'm an asshole. We just heard that story on, like, I'm so fucked in the head these days with the hobby that I can't get in a good place to try shooting Legos, even though I know I'd love it because it'd be much easier to shoot, much less stress, but it just doesn't happen. So yeah, that is kind of my excuse now is, hey, I'll spend $1,000 on Legos in 2020 because my kid will play with them.
Yeah. It's the easy out. It's the easy.
Yeah.
And you could even tell your wife. You could be like, "Hey, look, these aren't for me."
No, that's exactly. You're exactly right. That's how we roll. That's how we roll these days.
Perfect.
But there, I mean, some in the peanut gallery here in the chat are saying a lot of times Star Wars is going to be pricier because of the license, and that's typically the case with any manufacturer, any toy maker that gets the Star Wars license. It does seem like there's an extra bit of cheese and grease that goes along with it to pay the overlords at Disney. So. Good looking stuff here, though. I'm excited by these 2020 sets. None of them are available yet. I think most should come available end of August, September 1st. I do believe we had a link in here just to the lego.com site to drop down your pre-orders if you want to.
Yep.
Yes, Lego's overpriced, but they're so lovely to look at and hold and caress and play with. And cats love to fuck them up too. So there's that. I can't tell you how many times Stripes has knocked the Death Star beams off of my Death Star dish up there. It's enough times that a smart person would probably fucking move the Death Star, but it's me. So
just glue them. You got to glue that shit down.
No, the Craggle. Listen to this guy. The Craggle. He's fucking Lord Business over here. Get out of here with that stuff. All right. So that's kind of it for just new toy reveals, this, that, and the other thing. But we're not done talking about toys yet, and that's because our buddies over at X-Clue magazine, in particular Sir Jack, did another fun little top 5 listicle that I wanted to go through quickly with Nick here. Last time he did top 5 Legends characters we need as Black Series figures, and now he's doing top 5 Star Wars ships we need as Black Series. And I thought that was an awesome list and something Nick and I could talk about. So let's get right into it. First up, Nick, he lists the X-Wing, which I agree 100%. Yes, there are 3 3/4 inch scale X-Wings out there. I mean, there's a lot of 3 3/4 inch vehicles out there. So again, this is for the big boys. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, there is I think Johnny Walker Customs makes a 3D printed X-Wing for 1/12 scale, Nick, and you should see how big this thing is.
I mean, like, I'm surprised that it's not out there already. You have so many other vehicles, but I guess, like you said, they are kind of
they all make them for the small. We a lot of us should be getting our 1/12 scale snow speeder soon. They did make that. I mean, we got the 1/12 Dewback, the 1/12 land speeder, 1/12.
Dude, how do you make a 1/12 snow speeder before you make a 1/12 scale X-Wing?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's easier to design because it's just one piece of who knows, dude? But
yeah, maybe they're worried about like the articulation of the wings on the X-Wing because they open. I
mean, honestly, I think it's just boxes and shipping and shit. I mean, unless you want to ship this thing disassembled, I mean, the box for this thing would be this big, you know, as I'm holding my hands across on a radio show. Yeah, it'd be like this big for those of you listening on your radios. I agree. We need a 1/12 scale X-Wing. I think his next choice is very interesting. In a
cheap cut.
Yeah, exactly. Zam Wessel's air speeder, which apparently was called the Coro 2.
I like the design of it, the simplicity. I mean, and it's a ship that you would never think of because it's only in one sequence in all of the movies, and you really you see ships that have similar designs but not that exact design, and it feels like quintessentially Star Wars though. So I think this is a good call out because people who are real it probably wouldn't sell as well as like an X-Wing or, you know, any of the other ones, but people who are really into the series would definitely pick up on this.
All right, so 1/6 Shooter just chimed in with a great comment, so I want to pick up on that real quick. But he says we need a Falcon cockpit in 1/12 scale. I don't know if he's talking 1/12 scale or 1/6 scale. I'm assuming 1/12, but I'd take either or. And he's saying he wishes that was the HasLab project, and I agree. HasLab, Nick, this is where they made that big-ass sail barge where they essentially get fans to commit that they're going to buy something, and then they'll make it. You know, it's kind of like their own Kickstarter. And I agree. I'd love to have a cockpit diorama. There is some people on here. I think his name's Kang Dio on Instagram. I believe has a 1/12 scale homemade Falcon cockpit. But yeah, Trevor, that'd be dope. I mean, we might as well just get a 1/12 scale Falcon. The whole fucking thing, right?
The whole Falcon, yeah. I mean, that would still be pretty fucking big.
Dude, you know how big that would be? You would have to suspend it from your collectible room ceiling because it would take up so much real estate. I would love to have that. But yeah, I mean, Zam Wessel's ship is I just like the deep cut aspect. Oh, look at this motherfucker. Trevor does have a 1/6 scale Falcon cockpit. Look at him.
A 1/6 scale?
Yeah, so
that's got to be big.
That's like the size of me, essentially.
Jesus. That's pretty fucking awesome.
That's why he is the 1/6 shooter. All right, moving on. And I agree with this one too. A Naboo N1 Starfighter. I mean, in fact, I would like more 6-inch Phantom Menace figures.
Yeah. I mean, the N1 Starfighter is so unique in its design that you really don't have one that's like it outside of Episode 1. I mean, you have, you know, a similar-ish style in the Buzz Droid fighters or the CIS fighters, what are the Vulture Droids. Those are kind of similar, but really like the way that they're kind of like pointed and spire-like, and
I've always liked the N1. I love the way it sounds. I like it how it's got the Naboo chrome action. You know, the Nabooians. How do you call them, right? They were into their chrome, right? I mean, Padme, every ship she whipped was nothing but a shiny mirror. So
yeah,
and then like they're pew, like the sound they make. I would like one of these, and like I said, just more prequel era figures, really. Which you're probably going, what did Matt just say? He wants more prequel era stuff. Wow. Yes, I feel like I'm becoming yes, I am. And it's all because of the Clone Wars. So, and I've always loved Phantom Menace. Sir Dork's in here. We're probably the two biggest TPM fanboys out there. And I stand by, it is the best prequel of all time.
Definitely the best fight in it for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yep. The Jedi Delta 7 Starfighter. I mean, the one I think Obi whipped in Attack of the Clones. I know that again they had 3 3/4 inch scale version of this, but yeah, that'd be dope, especially because we've been getting all these new Black Series Jedi. So that would be fantastic.
Yeah. And if it came with the R4 unit too, that would be pretty sick. So I agree with that. Pretty nice. That's actually. This ship is in SWGO, but it's not.
Yeah, it's given to the bum Jedi, like the no name guy. Yeah, no like dude, like homeboy.
Yeah, you know? So he whips this ship in SWGO. Unfortunately, Obi does not.
Okay,
have
hold on.
His
Some
own
people
fighter,
are taking umbrage with my TPM claim. Yes, even Jar Jar. There's nothing wrong with Jar Jar. Jar Jar, for what George made him for, is actually fantastic. Klondike, I recommend, even if you hate TPM or if you haven't conditioned your own kids to hate TPM, let your kids watch TPM and tell me what they laugh out loud at. And probably one of the things they remember the most, it's going to be Jar Jar. And yeah, when I went through, I was like, oh man, he's kind of annoying. Yes, I get all that. But now when I look back and just see how my little kid received him, I was like, all right, George knew what he was doing. Yeah, there's some weird racial stuff there, but Jar Jar's not that bad of a guy. He really isn't. There's much worse characters in the prequels, namely Anakin Skywalker.
I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it later in the show, but you know, like John Knoll and Dave Filoni said, Star Wars is literally aimed at children. Right. Like, yes, there are people like us, everybody in the chat.
We're not trying to say we're above that shit. I mean, we treat this shit as if it is real life. There's a Bible out there somewhere, and we are the priests. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing wrong with TPM. And look at this. Here's another ship Jack went with from the prequel era. And I agree again. This is another badass looking ship, the ARC 170.
ARC 170 is really
the awesome. Predecessor to the X-Wings. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is another cool one. Again, they have this one available in SWGO. You should be playing SWGO. And, you know, that kind of leads us right into our next topic,
look at
which
Nick.
is
it's
on SWGO.
It's almost like we planned some of this shit beforehand. So
here we go.
Good job, my young Padawan podcaster.
There we go. But the SWGO news that we're going into now is all around one character that literally we've been waiting for years in this game, and that's JKL, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. That's
right. If he's in SWGO, he has to have an abbreviated name. For some reason over there, we can't call people by their names anymore.
No, it's JKR, DR, whatever. This is JKL. So.
Bast, Emo Bast, right?
Yeah, Emo Bast. I have to get her up to 7-star. But dude,
Gas. I mean, there's so GMY. There's so many. I love it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Jedi Knight Luke is here. I don't know if you and I are going to get him this year or next, but he's here. The event's still going on, right?
It is still going on.
Is he a galactic legend?
He is not a galactic legend from what I remember. The only galactic legends still are Galactic Legend Rey and Galactic Legend Kylo. So he is still considered a legendary character.
I really want to play this trailer, but I'm so scared.
Like if you kind of read into him and you look at his abilities and stuff, he is basically built to be a counter to Darth Revan. Like he has like, you know, he's immune and he makes his team immune to like turn meter change and all of these different things. And really, you know, what's interesting about him is they kind of built his journey from episode 5 on, because if you remember, for those of you who play SWGO, if you remember your CLS journey, you're unlocking Commander Luke Skywalker, that basically walked you through all of episode 4, and this one takes you through episode 5, and your first fight is with
the Wampa.
So, and that's what's fucking stopping me.
Yeah.
Because I never farmed Wampa.
I've got Wampa farmed. He's 7-star, but he's not Relic 3. So it's
Relic
like,
3.
See you later, pal. And what we're talking about, if hopefully you've listened to us. This game, it's something we play every day. It's something that takes a lot of time and a lot of grinding. Like, it's nothing but a grind. So to get JKL, you have to have certain characters that would make sense. Some I don't think make sense, but that's how they roll. It's to kind of entice the whales or the dolphins to spend a little cash.
Yep.
Who do you need? I mean, you got to start with the Wampa. I think you got to have.
You need Captain Han Solo.
Yeah,
so you need
Hoth Han, Rolo, which is Rebel Officer Leia.
Yep. You need Lando Calrissian.
Vader.
You need Vader. Do you need Lobot?
I don't know, man. I hope not.
I don't remember if you need Lobot.
But that's something they would do. I mean, just like if you look at the shit you need for Galactic Legend Rey or Kylo. Especially like what was it? You need young Lando's ship for the fucking event. Like, how does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's just like they put out these characters or these ships or whatever that you don't think you'll ever need, and then they're like, oh yeah, you need young Lando's ship for something that makes no fucking sense.
To unlock Rey Skywalker. Yeah. I mean, it's like, how does young Lando play into that? Either way.
So here's the full Rex. You need all Relic 3 for the characters. C-3PO, Darth Vader, Chewbacca, Wampa, Rebel Officer Leia, Lando, Captain Han Solo. You need CLS.
Okay.
So you need to get CLS to Relic 3. Then you need Hermit Yoda as well. So you need both of the farms from the Territory War thing. And you need Han's Millennium Falcon ship. And you need Wedge Antilles X-Wing.
Here's the deal. So, I will say for this one, if you are someone that's been playing for at least a year or two,
you have most of it.
Or if you're someone like me that's been playing from the dawn of time, you're pretty much done outside of the fucking gear grind, which is a nightmare. I mean, for free to play, getting these fuckers into the higher relics takes forever. I mean, I'm still working on General Anakin, which might be a year old at this point. I almost have my Sept droid. All my Sept droids are Relic 3 finally, so I think I can roll. But what I really wanted to talk about this, because I feel like we're losing some listeners here because no one likes this outside of our boy Alfie. But they refreshed Darth Vader, and I believe it's for this event and just to make him an actual Darth Vader. Because let's be real, Nick. Darth Vader had been refreshed once or twice before, and he still sucked. He was a bozo. Like, he did nothing. He could barely hurt anyone. He did not embody what you would think a Darth Vader character could do. Mm-hmm. But they updated his ass last night with a new ability. I think it's called Merciless. And if you Zeta that shit and just have him, basic gear 12, nothing crazy. I tested him out today. The dude took 6 turns in a row.
That's so nuts.
All right. Now, it's 5v5 battles, and you have tanks, you have attackers, you have stealth people. I mean, it's an RPG game with Star Wars grind. Just trust us. Like we said, it's free. Download. If you don't like it, tell it to go fuck off. Right. All it's going to do is take up some memory for a little bit. At least
we don't get anything if you download it. We're telling you to do it because it's a legitimately fun game.
And you probably hear fans like, oh, fucking EA, all they care about is Swago, these stupid Swago games, cash grab, blah. It's the same old bullshit that fucking dopey game trolls get into with free games. I mean, if you don't want to spend money, don't spend money. These games aren't fucking pay to win. There's no sure, you can be ranked 1, but so what? Spend the fucking money then. It's not that big a deal. You can still have a good time like Nick and I do. I mean, I'll spend $20 here and there now. It's like, fuck it. I've been playing for so long. And deep down, I want the game to keep going. So I'm gonna keep spending. But new Vader is a Mac Daddy. They made him look better visually, but more importantly, his power set now is ridiculous. So if you've been playing the game and you haven't checked out Vader yet, make sure to refresh your client. And I highly recommend blowing some Zetas on his ass.
There we go. So keep up with SWGO, because there's a lot of new content coming out. JKL is only the beginning of it. I'm sure that there's going to be some more Legendary and Galactic Legends and new characters coming out.
According to the Angry Crowd, which the intern is a part of, this announcement, by the way, caused him for probably the 5th time to
say he was
quitting the game and giving me his account. Right. And I'm just starting to screenshot these conversations because he's like, man, I hope you forget some of these. I'm like, nah, dude, I don't forget this type of shit. There he is. He's in here. The intern's in here. Perfect. He's in here. There he is. Kung Fu just joined up. That is the intern we're talking about. He is my personal Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes senpai. He kind of is the leader. Through osmosis, I get his advice, and then through our chats, it passes to Nick. So he's kind of like the Qui-Gon Jinn, the my Obi-Wan Kenobi to Nick's Anakin here.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean, he always, like, when these announcements come out and he knows he can't get it right away, he'll be like, fuck this game, they fucking suck, I'm quitting, I'm giving up my account, the game's gonna be dead in a year anyways. And I'm like, all right, man, all right, dude.
When we were at Celebration, it was the Malik grind, and intern was definitely frustrated. That was a hard event. Everybody was frustrated.
The thing is, I get what he's doing, because we're very much alike in the head in terms of the way we deal with shitty news, sports, this, that, or the other thing. It's a defense mechanism where you're like, hey, fuck this shit, I'm gonna quit, that way I don't ever have to worry about it. Or like, you know what, fuck my team, they suck, I hope they die, that way you don't have to worry when they lose, it's not gonna break your heart too bad. So I completely understand why he gets upset during these reveals and says he's gonna quit and give me his account. It's just funny. So I hope we keep it up with the next major reveal. But I do not think he made much progress on Jedi Knight Luke. At least the last time I checked in, he was at the Wampa paywall like we were. So
yeah, that's where we're stuck too. So it's not just you, intern. It's not just you. A lot of people are stuck, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck do I need Wampa for? Like, why would I ever need this character?
I know intern had him early because he plays the game smart. I mean, he put the money in to kind of get to a point where he can farm money at this point, where he doesn't have to spend real money, which was smart if you want to play this game for an extended amount of your life. But he plans shit like detailed. I'm talking spreadsheets. He knows what gear to buy, how much he needs of this, that, and the other thing. So he's on top of it. Oh, we just got an update. 0 progress. So
0 progress.
Well, I may be getting his account after all, because I think the longer he doesn't have JKL, the closer I will be getting to his, at this point, I would assume almost 6 million GP account, I would have to wager.
Wow, 6 mil. I'm like,
he's got to be up there. If I'm at 4.6, he's got to be close to 6 mil. So I'm glad intern joined in. I forgot to remind them that we're going to be talking some SWGO on this episode. So
we should try to put together, like, who do we think our next, our next 3 legendary reveals will be?
Which next legendary will get the intern to really quit the game? Like that'll become a game.
Quit, yes, but yeah, I mean, because right now, if you think about it, like, who's really left to reveal in terms of a legendary character? Are you going to bring Snoke in?
Dude. I mean, these people, trust me, if they need some cash, they'll figure something out. Yeah, they'll figure something out. We could always get old man Luke too. So
yeah, that's true. Get old Luke. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities, but that's what keeps this game fun, is that there's so many characters out there that you could pull in. Like, Nick, there's probably over 150 characters. I mean, right now?
It kind of preys on the same collectible draws that some of us, some of the assholes get from collecting figures, busts, props. So it's the same thing, right? You have a goal, you want to collect a squad that will synergize and move you on to the next collectible. So I mean, that's another reason why I like it so much. It's like, I'm not going to get caught up in the bullshits or these characters only for whales. It's like, who gives a fuck? I mean, in the end, it gives me something to do every single fucking day, like almost too much to do. I mean, there are nights now where I'm passing out on my couch trying to get my dailies done because I've had to move my payouts to almost midnight because my shards suck so bad that if I'm like in a normal time shard, I'm never going to place for gems. Now we're getting a little too deep in this will go, so we're going to leave it there, but play it, my friends. If you need something to kill time on your phone, on the pot, in the car, and you like Star Wars, you like collecting shit, you like working towards other more valued targets to collect, you can't go wrong with SWGO. You can't.
Yeah. Easy download, easy to play. It doesn't require you to sit there for 8 hours a day like you're playing a single player game. You can sit there and play for 5 minutes. You can play for an hour. You can play for however long you want. And, the game's not going to penalize you. So good shit. Give it a download. Sticking on the game news, we finally did have our world gameplay premiere for Star Wars Squadrons. And Matt and I kind of checked that out a little bit. So just to give you a little bit of news and some reveals that came from the gameplay premiere. First off, this is set after Return of the Jedi. It's going to feature dual storylines that will intertwine between a New Republic pilot and an Imperial Remnant pilot, from what I could gather of your design.
Yeah, so it didn't seem like you're the main white guy from the trailer or the main girl from the trailer. It does seem and like you, I don't know if they're talking about that's your multiplayer character or if that was the campaign, but
yeah, exactly. So you do have design options for characters, whether it be multiplayer or single player is kind of fuzzy. The game is going to retail at $40. So we talked about this last week. So you're not going to have to pay.
I think we now know why, right? I mean, you're the one that kind of caught on to that. I was surprised that some other people were like, will the game get DLC, when it was pretty clear?
It will not.
No.
It is so after the reveal, EA Motive came out. EA Motive is the designer, came out and said that it is not a living game, which means what you get is what you get. There will be no content updates. There will be no DLC. There will be like bug fixes and patches. But
yeah, you would hope so. You'd hope they're not like, hey, there you go. It's fucking, you bought it. You're stuck with it. Like buying a used car.
Yeah, it's like back in PlayStation 1 in the old days, where if a game released and it was fucked, it was just fucked.
Oh man, it's been so long, I don't even remember those days.
Yeah, I know, dude. It's like, but that back then, developers would actually take the time to make sure that you didn't have game-breaking bugs.
They'd actually do real testing and QA.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So you're not going to get, it's going to be like what you have when the game releases is going to be what the game is for all time. You're going to get 2 multiplayer modes in addition to the story mode that I mentioned before. Yep. So you're going to get a dogfight mode, which is 5v5, straight up 5v5. Then you're going to get a fleet battles mode, which is still 5v5, but it's multi-stage battles. So if you think about capital supremacy in Star Wars Battlefront 2, if you play that game, where you have the ground battle, then you move to the space battle, and if you fail the space battle, you move back down. It'll be similar to that, where you have multi-stages.
I kind of wrote it down, but you can play solo and with friends. You're going to have a social hub to kind of figure out what type of mods and customizations you want to roll with. So it does sound like they are focusing on strategy, and it isn't just like, oh, I'm the tank ship or I'm the attacker ship. But yeah, okay, so back to Nick's on the fleet. The phases are, you have a dogfight to start.
Yep.
Whoever presses the attack will then go on offense and stay on offense. Then there's a capital ship attack, and then finally the flagship attack.
Yeah. Now it's going to be interesting to see here. Like, if you win the dogfight battle, like you're pressing, you move forward, you get to the capital ship battle and they push you back. Do you just go back to dogfight?
Right. Because it seemed like once the dogfight, you figure out who's O and who's D, that's where you're at now.
Yeah. So it's going to be, because that's how capital supremacy works in Battlefront 2, where like you have that dogfight round where it's a ground combat. And then once you push to a certain point in ground combat, it will move to a space combat where your team is either on offense or defense. But if you D and you stop them from winning the game, you go back to ground, and then from there you can push them to their
you could get into like 2-hour long matches that way.
Those motherfuckers can go a long time. Like they can go a really long time.
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't mind either option really. I mean, it's like you're specifically O or D, and that's how you play it out. Once you lose, you have to defend. The only way to win is to defend, and then the only way to win is to attack.
Yeah.
Or like a real battle, you kind of give some ground, but then you get your shit together and you make a push and you kind of wedge through their offense, and here we go. So I don't know.
Yeah. You can push and pull. So it'll be interesting. And then after the reveal, Matt dropped in some updates too. So we have the playable locations that are going to be available in the game. Again, these are the only ones. You're not going to get any more playable locations. So you have Yavin Prime, you have Essels, the Nadiri Dockyards, Sasubo, Gallaton, and then the Zavian Abyss, which a lot of these are brand new locations to Star Wars that we've never seen in other games before. Specifically, I've heard of Essels. I don't know if it was in a book or not, but the Nadiri Dockyard, Sasubo, Gallatin are all, I think, brand new locations to Star Wars. The Zavian Abyss, again, I think I've heard of, and then Yavin Prime is, where Yavin 4 is. It's the system that holds Yavin 4.
Hey,
so
Greggy
really cool.
boy. Sorry, Greggy's up. He's in.
Greg's in here. Welcome to the cast.
Although Bossajan's been here from the top, Greg, so get your shit together.
Wow. Look at that.
I always forget, it's their like winter right now, so they don't like getting up early because it's cold.
I don't blame them. I don't like getting up early at all.
They got fucked up weather and their toilets flushed the wrong way, so that's what happens.
What's really interesting about this game, and Matt, I'll throw this out to you to see if you think there's any possibility, is there's some people out there who are like thinking this could turn into like a competitive esport type of thing.
I guess let's talk about the gameplay. I mean, I'm getting so close to touching the button and just let the trailer run, but I've touched that hot stove enough that I'm not going to do it.
It could explode the whole
screen.
Even though,
by the way, everyone, I am trying out something different on the tech setup today. Knock on wood, knock on haywood. Audacity finally updated its ass to work on Mac OS Shitalina, as I like to call it. So I'm not using GarageBand today, and so far so good. But anyways, the actual gameplay, Nick, they gave us the update. We're going to have the 2-faction campaign switching for views, but we did get to see some unadulterated, just straight up gameplay when they were announcing the different modes, this, that, and the other thing, and the cosmetic upgrades, component unlocks, how you can work together and use shit like tractor beams and mines to fight the bad guys. But just seeing the gameplay, I was instantly hooked. I think it's the first person cockpit view which really sells it for me. I mean, it almost makes it like a super fast twitch shooter. So I really enjoyed at least the visuals of what the gameplay could be. I think, knowing the gamer I am, I'm going to get into that 1,000%. I'm glad that it is first person. I don't mind the third person approach in Battlefront 2, but it gets a little wonky. It feels more arcadey, where this one just looked like it's going to feel as if, and if you have the VR, you literally will be sitting in the cockpit of these ships.
Yeah, and one other thing to call out, if you are planning to play this game on any particular console or PC or whatever, it's cross-play enabled, so you will be able to play
that
with
was
people
nice.
from Xbox
That was nice. So everyone can play with everyone, but I'm telling you right now, and I never go PlayStation for multi-platform. I know I'm such an Xbox fanboy. But this one I'm definitely going PlayStation solely for the PSVR. The VR. I mean, you got to. Come on. I mean, that thing's been sitting on my game shelf for probably a year and a half now without being used. So
yeah, I mean, this is where Matt's going to get, what you'll see is Matt's going to start playing this game, and then he's going to get his pilot's license because he's going to get hooked on flying in space. So he's going to go get a pilot's
Haywood
license.
Pop Skywalker.
There we go.
Best pilot in the digital galaxy. We also,
it looks good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I do think it's going to be shooter-esque.
It's going to be highly skill-based, too.
Which
it's skill-dependent.
Which is probably going to suck for me because those skills are long gone in terms of being competitive in multiplayer gaming. But I still think with friends or just coming in solo, getting in there fucking with the AI. I mean, I'm glad that was an option too for idiots like me. You know, if we get our butts hurt online, we could also just fire up some single player and fight the computer again, like the good old days. Put it on easy. Yeah, eat it, 10-year-olds. I'm gonna beat the computer on easy. You know what I mean? So I did. I really like the gameplay. I think it looks intense. I think it looks Star Wars ship combat correct. But I also do like that it seems like there is a focus on strategy and teamwork, more importantly. So
for sure.
That'll be a day one buy for me. I don't know if I have any of my old video game contacts where I could maybe get it early. We'll try.
Yeah. It looks good, and for $40 price point, it's very accessible, even for me, somebody who does not have a job now.
He's going to get a job though. He's interviewing. His TVs are breaking. You never know. I mean, at this point in time, the luck has to change for young Nick. It has to. I mean, just yesterday. I'm not fucking kidding. Just yesterday. Hey man, remember that TV I got 2 months ago? It's bricked. Fucking bricked. Firmware bricked it. It's like, oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, dude. Now he's got to wait 5 days to get its TV fixed.
Yep, that's where my luck is right now.
Right in the middle.
I turned the TV on, I updated it, and it just didn't come back.
And mind you, he's in lockdown, no job. He's basically a college kid again, can sleep in all day, stay up all night. And he was playing what is being dubbed by some as one of the best games of all time, and now he can't even do that. And continuing his quest in The Last of Us 2. So it's like, oh, poor Nick, man.
What a day.
I've always thought that the universe has had it out for me. I mean, I've had some really fucked up medical conditions, not bad stuff. I'm not saying like I had cancer, but like I get hives sometimes and they last for upwards of a year. I get them every day, regardless of what I eat, drink, what I sleep. It just doesn't matter. I couldn't pee when I was in my 20s, literally was taking like Flomax and shit. So I've had some fucked up, unexplained medical things and other bad luck, but these days Nick takes the cake.
Yeah, I'm at the bottom of the wheel right now. I'm getting rolled over by everybody coming by.
Mind you, he's interviewing because he left a job knowing full well he was going to get another one he had to interview for, but then COVID hit and the place stopped hiring.
That is true.
So it's like the poor guy, man. All right.
That is very true.
We'll move on from Nick's depressing life.
Depression round.
Yeah. But just last thing on Squadrons, the StarWars.com, the official databank has been updated with some canon stuff there. So we got Lyndon Javes. He's going to be the New Republic guy, kind of your cutscene leader, if you will. Teresa Carell is going to be on the Empire side. And then, as we said last week, you're going to have Vanguard Squadron from the New Republic and Titan from the Empire. Yes. And it looks like we're also going to get, this last point here, 2 new New Republic style ships in the Temperance, which kind of has a Mon Cal look. But the Starhawk here, Nick, I don't know if you read this one, but apparently the New Republic had been salvaging Imperial Star Destroyers and using them to build prototype New Republic battleships, and that's what this Starhawk is. So
very nice.
That's pretty slick.
You're gonna get a little bit of lore. You're gonna get a little bit of new characters, and it's going to be well worth the $40.
I am fully excited for this game. I'm excited for the campaign. That's a no-brainer, and I'm excited to try out the multiplayer, which I do feel after a night or two of just getting destroyed and becoming nothing but a spawn, death, and repeat type of player. I'll probably never play it again, but that's $40 for you.
There you go. So keep your eyes out. It's going to be an October 2nd release date as of now. So
I don't think this is getting delayed, man. I think this thing's in the can, ready to roll. I really do. Because we talked about the Project Maverick PSN leak. I mean, it feels like at least a half a year ago, right?
Yeah, like at least 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, it was still when the world was normal, so I know that.
Yep. So moving away from the video game and fandom section, we're kind of getting into some news, some rumors, some interviews around the live action stuff, what could be happening in the future of Star Wars. And one of these things comes from Mr. Ewan McGregor himself, who had an interview with Ace Universe podcast. And during that podcast, they talked about a ton of stuff. But of course, when you're talking to Ewan, Star Wars comes up, and then more particularly the upcoming Disney Plus Kenobi series. And really, you had a couple questions here, but the big thing that we learned is that they are going to be using the Mandalorian style LED screens on this show as well. So you're not going to be dealing with a fully CG environment like you did with the original prequels or the Star Wars prequels. You are going to have the volume, as they called it, in Disney Gallery Mandalorian in play here.
I just in a roundabout way, he's essentially saying that this is going to be so much easier than shooting the prequels because George was pushing the tech envelope back then, which made my job as an actor impossible.
Yeah. If you like a couple of quotes. So one choice quote that Matt was kind of getting to, he said, technically, this is speaking about the prequels. He said, technically, it was quite complicated. It was all blue screen and green screen. It was hard to imagine it. Nowadays, things have moved on so much. A lot of what you see, as in us, the audience.
Which is funny, because if you listen to a lot of their interviews back when they were filming this shit, or I think even the behind the scenes, I'm pretty sure all of them are like, oh, yeah, man, it's acting. That's what we do, man. We're actors, right?
Yeah, and then they realize, like, holy shit.
Yeah, then when they see the finished product, they're like, oh, yeah, we look like a bunch of fucking assholes.
It's like, I had no idea that this was behind me or this dude was next to me.
Yeah, that's why we look like we can't act in these movies, so thank you. But, in all seriousness, that was George, man. Again, we talked about this a few episodes back. The volume is what George had in his head. He just didn't have the tech there to do it.
Yeah, that was George's
and that's what Ewan is saying. He's just saying, like, it's not going to be a fucking nightmare. Those movies sounded like they were a shit show to shoot, tech-wise, location-wise. And you got to remember, those movies would take 3 years to finish. You'd have to shoot, and then you'd have to spend the other 2 years doing all the computer stuff. So I think, as he said, as he's probably seen, maybe he's watching the Mandalorian gallery stuff, and he's heard from his peers talking about how magical working with the volume or working with the screens has been. So hell yeah, he's going to enjoy this more than working on the prequels.
Yeah, he definitely called out the Mando behind the scenes at one point in the interview. So he's been keeping up with it. And what's fun about Ewan is, like, he seems like a legitimate fan, and like he references things that are going on. Oh yeah, in the fandom,
I love Ewan in Star Wars. He's always been a fan. You got to remember, he's Wedge's nephew, I believe.
Yeah,
Dennis Lawson. So it's in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. Go ahead.
One other quick thing that came out of the interview was they were talking about the title, and he says that it is still untitled. So the title of the series is not Kenobi. But he did say that he's been looking at fan art and he's been looking at fan suggestions. And if he had to pick one of the things that's kind of floating out there, he would go with Hello There.
Yes!
He said that was the one that he liked as the name.
That's why we love Ewan McGregor. That's why we love his Hello There. That's why I hope this show happens. I'm still like, is it really going to happen? Is Cassian even going to happen? Honestly, and I'm not talking Disney bullshit. I'm talking the world.
Yeah.
Viruses, shooting. Can we shoot? Can we actually have a production where people aren't going to get sick? We're already finding out a lot of the stuff that's trying to reopen ain't fucking working. Big surprise.
Yeah.
Big fucking surprise.
It's going to take a while.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like, unless these guys are locked in a bubble for the amount of time it requires to shoot this show, I do not know how all this stuff is going to get back to normalcy unless everything literally moves to New Zealand.
Yeah, that's your only option at this point. But I'm sure Taika wouldn't mind that. He's like, hey, let's do everything in New Zealand. I don't have to leave my house, so that'd be perfect. Yeah,
but I would love to live down there. I've always been a fan of New Zealand just based on what Peter Jackson showcased in his fucking Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah. Come on. Like, look at that place. That place has to be one of the greatest places to live.
I've never been there, but I know a couple of friends who've been to the location of like Hobbiton and a lot of the Lord of the Rings sets, and they were like, dude, it's incredible. Yeah. Like, you can walk into the Hobbit houses and all this different stuff. They said it's really cool. And then we got our super fan Greggy boy over here who just lives there. He's in Australia.
Yeah, so
he's in Australia, but he's close enough, right? Y'all are basically you and New Zealand are basically
we're from America.
Thing, right,
we don't know anything about the rest of the world. They're right next to each other. You guys could just swim there, right?
Yeah, it's not even that far. You could probably just hop on a bicycle. Bike on over.
A lot of people also, like when they look at a globe or a map, they think that Australia is huge. It's actually like smaller than our country if you plopped it onto our landmass. So
Australia is it's like, I can't remember. It's very close in size to America. There's a lot of dead space in Australia.
No, I'm just saying, like if you look at Australia on a globe, they inflate it to make it look like it's fucking a massive piece of land, and it's not. But they're not as fucked up as we are, so good for them.
That's true. They're doing a lot better than us. But kind of sticking with the Disney Plus Star Wars.
Yeah, this is the fun one here,
stuff.
where it's like, okay, and those of you that are on here, if you're wondering, like, hey, I wonder why they haven't been talking about this Rebels sequel or this or that. It's like, you know why? Because we talked about it way back when it was first brought up, and I'm not going to pay attention to these idiots, Noah Outlaw and all these dummies on Kessel Run Radio, whatever the fuck it is, where they literally just throw out the same shit over and over. Like, Rebel sequel coming. It will be Bad Batch. Or, it'll be maybe Captain Rex and Ahsoka on the side screen. And, but now maybe they're going after Ezra, and now maybe they're this. And it's like anyone can do what they're doing. It drives me nuts that they're recognized as like, oh my God, can you believe these guys broke this? It's like, wow, the Rebel sequel.
You didn't break anything. All you did was just say a bunch of stuff. You take the Mike Zero approach. You take the shotgun, you spray it out there, and then one thing will hit. Yeah,
see how much shit you can throw at a wall and what will stick. I mean, last week, Noah Outlaw, I think it was on Mondays, like, Star Wars Celebration, or whatever day it was, Star Wars Celebration cancellation coming today. It's happening.
And it didn't come today or the next day.
It didn't fucking happen. So, let's stop with this shit.
But yes, Celebration was canceled. Everybody fucking knew it was going to be canceled. But like, he just puts it out as if it is a leak. But it's just,
I mean, they have become they're the ones that know all this about all these supposed animated series coming out. It's just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Whose dick has been sucked over on Reddit for these guys to always be the main leakers or sources of this information?
It's pretty crazy. Right? But another piece of absolutely incredible journalism from the internet has now stated, I list this as a rumor, and I don't know why, because it's the most obvious thing ever. But it's now out there that Disney is planning a shared universe for all Star Wars series that are coming to the Disney Plus.
I mean, hello. What the fuck do you think Star Wars is? You dumb fucking idiots, right?
Everything is a shared, interconnected universe. Every TV series that has released even before Disney Plus was a thought of imagination has been interconnected in a shared universe.
What the fuck do you think Rogue One was? Anyone see that? Oh, it was connected to the Star Wars movies. That's crazy.
And it's like, it's so obvious for you to be able to see the interconnections between these two series. The Clone Wars and Rebels, are those interconnected series? Of course there are. You have shared characters in all of them. You have shared timelines in all of them. Like, So for these, so here's the earth-shattering news.
Oh, I like you even put earth-shattering. There you go. I'll bring it up.
Is that there will be a part of the shared universe is going to be the Mandalorian, the Cassian Andor series, and other rumored series. What
are we talking about?
It's like, dude, they didn't even list the more obvious link, which is the Mandalorian to the Clone Wars. Like.
I like reading your snark. I mean, that's what's giving me some of the laughs here. Like, people, you guys just got to read it. You can tell when Nick was writing this, he was hate writing it. That's some of the fun here. But it's like, how is this even fucking news And we're assholes for talking about it, but we wanted to talk about it to remind you assholes of all the other assholes out there that are Star Wars fans.
It's just stupidity, man. I mean, like,
but Nick, it's what everyone likes. Like, it's how people get. Have you ever seen a Star Wars Time article show up anywhere as a source or a? It's like these people get the hits. They get the respect. Right. Now you guys know why I'm so mental. It's like, what the fuck do we have to do to be considered to be in the know, or people worth, hey, these assholes said this, so let's discuss it on our shitty forum, right?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that we had a legitimate leak that we tried to share on Star Wars Leaks, and they deleted it immediately.
Instantly deleted.
Like a real source gave us real information with the screenshot.
It's unbelievable. I mean, subreddits are such a fucking joke. All the rules are bullshit. They cater to certain accounts and those accounts only. And it's just, that's why it's like the guys at Kessel Run or whatever it is, they could be great guys. I'm just an angry motherfucker because I know the time I put in, I know the time Nick puts in, and I know we're good at this shit. Sort of. We're at least average, right? C- or less. We're not an F. But it's like, I mean, they just like, oh wow, there's going to be a sequel to Rebels. Like, oh wow, oh my god, oh no shit. You think so? Considering they left two major fucking characters' stories just hanging in the unknown regions, do you think there's going to be a sequel?
Yeah, it's sad. And here's the big thing here is that, surprise, surprise, Dave Filoni will serve as the lore master for this whole thing.
All right, well, hey, if that's a new reveal, if that's the new marching orders at Disney, then great. That makes a lot of fucking sense. That's what I've been putting out there into the Force. This guy should be the lore master. Yeah, I mean, while we're talking about this, Nick, just real briefly, the Mandalorian BTS is now over. The final episode came out. The final episode is great, especially if you're someone like me that likes Easter eggs and seeing all the nuances that they jammed into every episode. But you also, in that episode, once again, you get a full understanding of the man that Dave Filoni is and why he is the torchbearer, the lore master, whatever the fuck you want to call him, for all of Star Wars. I know Favreau likes to kid with him, but you can tell even John knows the magic that Filoni gives his project and knows the magic that Filoni gives Star Wars in general. So yeah, fucking A, he better be the lore master.
Yeah. So, I mean, on that topic, that last episode was really cool because it shows you not only the level of detail that was just put into the show in general, but the level of detail to maintain the reverence to the original Star Wars that were always being called out or being referenced.
Oh, they do a whole spot on Wilrow, so I mean, it's a great deal. They talk about the celebration march, all the shit Nick and I talked about. So, I mean, we basically are like listening to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. We just suck.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't make a $120 million TV show. So, I mean, it's a really good watch for those of you who are not only just interested in behind the scenes for the Mando, but the filmmaking process, the storytelling process, what goes into the reverence behind this type of series.
It's good. Check them out. It is over now, so no Mando anything until October. But just kind of back to this no shit Sherlock article again, Nick. It is. What's going on with Star Wars fans and Star Wars fan personalities these days? I mean, we try to bring it to you common sense, no bullshit, but if it takes just throwing out some random ding-dong type of claims like this, maybe we should start doing it.
Yeah, maybe we just need to make up a source. It's like a source inside of Disney Plus has told us that there's going to be a really awesome follow-up to Rebels.
It's weird because even when I was at EB, I was getting legit shit on Marvel stuff, on DC stuff. I mean, I posted that Swamp Thing would be canceled even before its first season came out. That came to fruition. I posted that the DC streaming network would go away. That came to fruition. But no one gave a shit because it was just me and Entertainment Buddha. It's like you also have to grease the Reddit people, you know? So
Yep.
And I'm not willing to do that shit. I mean, I'm someone that feels like if I'm good at what we're doing, then the people should come. So clearly I haven't taken my own advice because we've been doing this for many years now and not that many people have come. So I think it's time to hang up the fucking hat.
Tones mentioned that he's surprised that there's no mention of Kevin Feige. Feige is supposed to be more movie side.
I hope so, because that's where they kind of need some fixing and better interconnectedness, especially after that last trilogy where, standalone films, fine. But, you try to tell me that the sequel trilogy had some sort of cohesive narrative, you're on drugs.
Yeah, there was definitely a departure from the cohesion of the narrative.
If you needed Feige to tell you that you should make a shared universe with the TV stuff, you truly are. You should not be running Lucasfilm.
Like the only way that this would ever be news is if somehow Disney didn't realize that they had already built a shared universe and then somebody told them that they did. Like, you guys realize that you have a shared universe.
What are we even talking about? Like, what are we talking about with this? It's insane. Yeah. It's insane.
It's so ridiculous.
I'm starting to think we're fucking ridiculous for even talking about it now. Like, I'm the asshole that I'm talking about.
Yeah, because you tossed this up in our shared Slack channel, and I thought it was like there was some juice behind it. So I was like, okay, interesting. Yeah. And I read it, and I was like, when I started to type it, I could not help myself.
Yeah, my bad.
But just to like farce this, I was like, it was just so ridiculous. Just go and read what we got, like what I wrote about this.
Yeah,
so
check it out. And you hat assholes in the chat, the more you ask about them, the less you'll get.
That's what I was going to say. Every time a hat mention happens, it goes up. Back
the number goes up another 1,000. Yeah, we're working on it. Don't worry about it.
We got it. You guys have to realize
we understand
logistically this is hard right now.
You guys in Australia, you got to understand, we live in America where shit is fucked.
We're having giant spikes again.
And we pretend
they're shutting down businesses again.
We pretend that it's not even here anymore. Yet it's worse than it was when we were locked down. So, do that fucking mental math gymnastics in your head. So a little different over here, but I'm reaching out to the hat maker that I've used in the past, and we shall see.
Yeah. So I will say that we will try to get them out and available before the end of the year, but we can't guarantee it because we just don't know what's happening in the world right now. Like,
these motherfuckers.
It's a difficult time.
Why are we even trying to change the name of the super fans? They truly are assholes.
I know, right?
Cock-sucking assholes. All right, my friends. So got a little reading this week, or at least Nick did.
I did. I read.
My troglodyte ass isn't going to read this, but Mr. Charles Soule dropped the first chapter of his High Republic novel, Nobel, which is titled The Light of the Jedi. And I believe our good friend Nick read it and is ready to give us a book report.
Yeah, so the first chapter is available. They did an exclusive release through IGN, and basically what it does is it gives you the events of, the catalyst of events that happens that really kicks off this High Republic era. So what the first chapter that's available, if you go on StarWarsTime.net, it'll link through to the chapter for you to read it yourself if you want to. It sets up a galaxy that's very similar to Firefly, in my opinion. So it felt very like Old West, because at this time, you didn't have a lot of the galaxy map. One of the big things that was a very important player in this first chapter is that hyperspace lanes were still relatively new. Like, this whole idea of hyperspace lane travel and everything like that was a new concept. And a lot of these hyperspace lanes either weren't fully mapped out yet, or they were still kind of like people weren't that comfortable with it. So the first chapter introduces us to a character. She's the captain of a freighter ship. She was an ex-military pilot turned freighter ship captain, and she's carrying a group of civilians out to the Outer Rim. They were going to the Outer Rim to look for jobs just like you would in like Old West prospecting times. Like they were literally just people looking to go out,
get rich quick, right? Like, hey, if we find a mineral or a gas or the dilithium, sorry, that's Star Trek. Fucking
you get Tabana
coaxium,
gas or something.
you're good.
Coaxium, anything like that. So it was Captain Hedda Cassett is her name, and she's the chapter itself is relatively not mundane.
Did you get any of the Jedi introduced in this chapter? Or it was,
no, so this is purely just Captain Cassett on her ship carrying these people out. And what the event is, and this is kind of spoilery if you want to read it. So spoiler, cover your ears.
Oh, fuck them. They're a bunch of assholes anyways.
Yeah. So basically what happens is she's carrying these people out out along one of the very few well-mapped hyperspace lanes to the outer rim.
And these lanes, again, Nick, they're charted so people can just put in the coordinates and know they're not going to run into an asteroid field, a planet, a moon.
Exactly. So she's running from the core worlds to the outer rim on a very well-traveled and clear hyperspace route. And for some, like in the middle of their travel, something comes through this hyperspace lane and shatters and just explodes the ship, kills probably everybody on it, Captain Cassett included.
So do you think that this is the event that they tease? Like there's going to be an event at the beginning of the book that essentially shapes the Jedi missions moving forward?
Exactly. And this is what, Sule had a couple of comments on this chapter. He said, this excerpt is our first look at the moment that changes the High Republic forever. The destruction of the Legacy Run, that's the name of Captain Cassett's ship, is the catalyst for a galaxy-wide disaster. Fragments of the destroyed cargo vessel begin flying out of hyperspace at super accelerated speeds, meaning that deadly missiles of debris can appear anywhere at any time, from the outer rim to the core worlds. In this moment of crisis, the Republic turns to the guardians of peace and justice, the Jedi. And it says, the opening beats of The Light of the Jedi depict an epic disaster and a heroic, thrilling response by both the Republic and the Jedi to save the lives and end the crisis. It's just the beginning, though. The Legacy Run disaster kicks off a much larger story. It really is just one piece of a much bigger saga. So basically what they're setting up is like somehow a very, you don't know what it is. In the chapter, it doesn't tell you. Somehow a very large object comes pummeling through this hyperspace lane in the opposite direction that Captain Cassett is going. So it's head-on collision.
Got you.
And, this kind of leads into what we heard about the High Republic era, is that you were going to have these teams of Jedi, or these specialized Jedi that go out into the unknown regions to explore and to look into like these weird happenings in the galaxy. So this kind of leads me to believe that whatever was in this hyperspace lane came from the unknown regions somehow. So it may be an alien ship, or it may be a projectile that was shot down this hyperspace lane because somebody noticed that it was open and it was going to somewhere in the outer rim that maybe they wanted to have, purview over, or something like that. So it's pretty cool the way that they set it up.
So someone that enjoys reading books, in particular Star Wars books like yourself,
yeah.
Do you feel reading that first chapter that it was something that was grabbing your fanboy? Like, is this something that you want to follow up on now?
I do. I like the way that it's set up, because you're reading this chapter for a majority of the time and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Like I said, it had a very Firefly feel to it, which I enjoy. Like, I really like that series. And then you get hit all of a sudden with like, you like in a very short amount of time, you like attach yourself to this character of Captain Cassett, and then she's dead. Right. And then you're like, holy shit, like what?
I mean, that's just like a movie or a comic book, the first few minutes, first few pages, it needs to snag you. So if you're saying it's good, I'll believe you.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm, after reading the first chapter, I'm like, man, I wish we still had this August 2020 release date. But as we mentioned,
isn't it pushed to 2021 now?
Jan 2021.
A mega push, probably just because of printing and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I mean, I wasn't gonna say I was expecting it to blow, I do like what you said. I mean, I know the intern, his ears peaked up when you mentioned Firefly. He's a huge blowing trees. Is it blowing trees or blowing leaves type of guy?
Oh, leaves in the wind.
Yeah,
I'm like a leaf in the wind.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. That's heartbreaking. But yeah, it's brown coats. Brown coats.
I don't know, man. It comes down to me and my I don't know, my moron approach to written Star Wars projects, I guess. I know it would be a good read. It'd probably be a good listen. It comes down to what in the day gets chopped from my life to add that in, and watching a kid at home, working, this, that, and the other thing. At least now, I don't know if I got the time to spare.
You need that commute time back so you can get some audiobooks in.
Okay, these guys in the chat are getting crazy. I got to know. We got two Aussies here, and one just asked the other, "Do you go pigging?" So what the hell does that mean? We'll wait till we'll wait till they kind of respond to us. But that kind of scares me.
Is that like hog hunting? Like, I know that,
Hogging?
Greg is. I can make things disappear, says Greg. This is getting very odd.
I mean, we're about to have the fucking FBI come in here and disable the chat.
Yeah. So it's very, very crazy.
These motherfuckers are so stuck on these hats. Like, we send hats down there, I'm going to wipe my ass with my hats that go to Australia. Like, you guys are going to have an extra bonus edition of some Matt Man juice on that shit. I'm going to do an ass wipe, a grundle wipe, and then my pits, and then I'm going to spin in it, and then I'll send it down
then
there.
You'll send those down.
That'll be
who
authentically Star Wars Time Show worn.
There we go. So High Republic stuff looks really good. I'm excited for it once it comes out, but I'm glad that I'll have the next chapter of the Thrawn trilogy, or the next chapter of the Thrawn saga, to kind of get me through until January 2021. So looking forward to it. Go read the chapter out there on the internet. You guys go to StarWarsTime.net, check out the first chapter read, and then click through on the link. All right,
so we got an update on pigging. Pigging is where I guess you just go and kill wild pigs for fun. Hogging, which I mentioned, and as Kung Fu has brought up, is something completely different, at least here in the USA. Some of us might have done some hogging back in our college days. You never know.
Good. Oh man, yeah, this is getting a little crazy.
Have another shrimp on the barbie. Now we're getting some of the American fans here throwing the good old tried and true Aussie sayings at him. So,
oh my god,
that's not a knife. Yeah, all right. We're getting
all right,
over it.
Let's keep it Star Wars here, people. All right, so
these fuckers, they distract me. It's my fault. Yeah, moving on. Speaking of, oh fuck, I did two right there, Nick. Moving on. Speaking of Oscar Isaac, not an Australian. But he did an interview, I don't know if this week, last week. He's got a little art indie film coming out, kind of where he started in. And of course, just like, we were talking earlier with Ewan, whenever they're out and about, the press, the media, they're going to ask them about Star Wars. Yep. So these people asked Oscar about Star Wars, and he kind of gave some quotes like, "I enjoyed the challenge of those films and working with a very large group of incredible artists and actors, prop makers, set designers, and all that was really fun." But then he clarified that making those big budget films is really not his bag. It's not really what I set out to do. What I set out to do was to make handmade movies and to work with people that inspire me. So first thing I want to ask you, Nick, is that a little bit of a dig there at the end?
I mean, I don't want to say it's a dig. I think that he realized that these big, huge budget movies are way different. Like, if you go through, look at his filmography.
Oh, I get that. I guess the line I'm saying is work with people that inspire me. Is that like people like a JJ that make big movies only? Is it his castmates? Was it the people he worked? I mean,
yeah.
Or do you think he was kind of, we're just being assholes and putting words in his mouth, and he's talking, when he works on the indie art films, he's more inspired to do by those people. But again, he's still technically saying he's not inspired working on the big stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what he was going for, is that the indie stuff, the smaller films kind of get his juices going more. And like, I think that he legitimately enjoyed the experience of working with Daisy and John.
Probably.
And, you know,
and probably making the movie. I don't think he likes
the politics around it, and
doing the promotion and then becoming a character for life that's not him as a person. It's someone he played, but now a large portion of people only see him as Poe. So I mean,
yeah.
I get some of that, but sometimes when these people bitch and moan about making all this money and working on big projects like Star Wars, and I'm an artist, you're an artist, people that listen to us are artists, so I kind of get it. But sometimes you just want to be like, hey man, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's like you're lucky, man. Like,
we're in a basement talking about Star Wars. You were in 3 fucking Star Wars films. You're still making fucking movies. Yet you're still got to be like, hey, you know what? Star Wars is great and all, but I prefer the more indie art stuff. That's what inspires me. It's like, yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. So somebody said, Tone said, did he say the same about X-Men? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at his X-Men movie was bad too. Like,
that's a good point. That's a good point, Tones. So yeah, I mean, it's like.
I think he had some bad experiences on big budget movies.
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the big budget stuff he was in, it's very fan-centric. It's fanboyish, fangirlish. I mean, X-Men, obviously, they're very fanboy, fangirl like we are over here in Star Wars. It really wasn't a great movie. I think it was a completely wrong character for Oscar Isaac to play. I didn't get that.
Yeah, him as Apocalypse was weird.
It was weird. This just made no sense. But I think he was fantastic for Star Wars. He was a great, cocky type of pilot. Sometimes you're just like, man, and I get it. They are humans in the end. They're no different than us. But it's like, motherfucker, who cares? Who fucking cares if your job was to go out on TV shows and get wined and dined to talk about working in Star Wars?
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about that. But and then he even went on to say, I think you put this a little bit later in the post, somebody asked him like, hey, would you ever consider doing another Star Wars? And his response was, probably, but who knows, if I need another house or something. So,
yeah, and that's why I led with the title, Oscar Isaac will only consider a return to Star Wars if he needs a ton of cash.
Yeah, so dollar.
Yeah, that was not an onion type of title. It was just the truth. I spice it up a little bit. So... And I don't think he's kidding. I mean, I think he would 100% come back for the money, just like Boyega would, and so would Daisy. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, fucking Harrison did.
Yeah, good point, Nick. I mean, if any Star Wars curmudgeon, there's no bigger Star Wars curmudgeon than Harrison Ford, and they got his ass back for two movies. Yep. They tricked him into coming back for the final one.
I like that he came back for 9. I think his part in 9 was...
It was nice. And the reason he said he did it was for Adam. And I think that was even better. So, you are right. If Harrison can come around and accept a $20 million check for a rinky-dink kind of cameo-ish type of part, then I think Oscar can too. And there's a part of me that just thinks like these guys, kind of like the prequel people, didn't quite have the experience, at least from the fans they were looking for, right?
Yeah.
You probably go into like a Star Wars trilogy if you're one of these three thinking like, man, this is gonna be great. Fans are gonna love us. It's gonna be awesome. And then, it happens.
I will say, dude, after TFA, like they had to be feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, you're right. I mean, TFA 100% set up the sequel trilogy to go in very interesting places. But then Kathy and Bob and all those fucking idiots were like, hey, you know what? Instead of keeping this shit cohesive and, continuing the arcs we started here and all these irons we have in the fire, we'll just let another artist completely give his take on what he think might happen.
Yeah, it's like, what do you want to do?
Right.
You can do whatever you want to do.
If we're going to do it for the middle film, let's fucking pick another completely different artist to write the next one. Yeah. It's a great idea, right? It'll all work out.
Decisions.
And now we are in 2020. We know it did not.
Yeah. So one more piece of movie news. I mean, really, there's no new movie news happening right now, but Disney is going to allow the re-release of select Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars films into theaters to like jumpstart the
yeah,
theater
it is.
reopenings.
I mean, Nick, think
around the
about
world.
it. I mean, I am a self-described cinephile, and I feel like movies have just disappeared.
They do.
There's like nothing new coming out anymore. You don't really get trailers for anything coming out. I mean, we are in the summer blockbuster season, and there's no blockbusters to go see. And I still don't know if I'm going to go back to the theaters. I mean, just after our show last week, AMC put out their plan. They got fucking trolled because they're stupid. Then they reverse course. Now Cinemark, they want to be the stupid ones this week about face masks. So we'll see. I don't know if they reverse course yet. Regal has done it, but there are basically movies are looking to come back in full force, or at least as many theaters as they can open by mid-July. That's AMC's plan. I think you said Regal's already open by you.
Regal did open. Like
Okay.
they reactivated our unlimited pass. They gave us a free month, so they're spinning back up.
I know Alamo Drafthouse, like they had a great troll to AMC like that day when all that news coverage was coming in about how AMC, like, we don't want to be political by being political and saying we're not going to enforce masks. It's like, you fucking idiot.
You literally,
like, how dumb are you? How fucking dumb are these white guys that run companies?
Just really, really fucking stupid.
But anyways, as Nick said, it's like when these theaters reopen, I mean, outside of Mulan or Tenet, what the fuck are they going to screen?
Yeah.
So a lot of studios like Disney apparently are opening up their catalog to theaters saying, hey, if you want to, pay us for this movie, we will allow you to show it again on the big screen. And according to Eric Davis, who is an editor over at Fandango, this is part of Disney's slate. So we're getting some MCU, but for us, they have Empire and The Force Awakens. Yeah. There is an and more, so I don't know if that means there's going to be more Disney licenses out there, more Star Wars. You'd almost think if they're doing Empire and Force, they would throw a prequel movie as well.
Yeah, I was going to say throw like, TPM or Episode 3.
But I think this is kind of cool. It could be a way to get people back out there again. I like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I just like sitting in a tiny closed theater with a bunch of fucking idiots that probably aren't doing the right thing. I just don't think we're there yet, but hey, you never know.
It's tough, yeah, because as much as I would like to go see Empire on the big screen, because outside of seeing Empire at a drive-in, I've never really seen it at a proper movie theater, which I think would be an amazing experience.
It is.
I don't know if it's gonna, anything else will draw me back. I mean, TFA, everybody knows that is one of my favorite Star Wars. So I will definitely go see TFA again, but it's just like, do I want to risk my health to go see it?
I mean, at this point, with my 100-inch screen and my $100 8-man projector, I'll just fucking throw that in my basement and call it good. You know what I mean? For a Star Wars movie. In terms of like brand new titles, I mean, I'm a Nolan junkie. I want to see Tenet, but is that draw strong enough to be like, hey, I'll be the guinea pig to go to theaters first to see what the fuck happens? I mean, a lot of these guinea pigs that are trying some of the going back to normal, it ain't turning out for them. So we'll see.
Texas has turned into a goddamn disaster area again. Like, they literally had to shut down 4 bars that are within 8 miles of my house, because they weren't following the rules. Like they weren't like
big surprise. All right, we're in Texas, goddamn. We can secede from the union whenever we want. It's in our state constitution. I can't tell you how many times I heard that when I lived in Texas for a year and a half.
Dude,
I loved living in Texas, but it's like, man, they love their fucking state. It's like,
they do.
We'll secede when we want. It's like, okay, and then we'll fucking nuke you. Ta-da! It's like, go ahead, Texas. Have fun. We still love you, though. The stars are bright day and night, deep in the heart of Texas. It's from Pee Wee Herman, and if you go to a Texas Rangers game.
Yes. So that's all the news that we got this week. Keep an eye out for theaters around you showing ESB or TFA.
Yeah, that's the deal. This all comes down to the theaters themselves. I mean, this isn't a guarantee. So you're going to see a hodgepodge, or you might not get any old movies. You just don't know. It comes down to how much moolah they want to shell out. Like, do they think if they, rent ESB to sell to us, will they make enough money? So we'll see.
Yep. For sure. So now we're moving on to the fan
Woo!
segment of the podcast. And before we get into the top 5, you know how we do it. We go over some of the responses that we get from the fans on Instagram. And we had a couple of good, question.
Hold on. What do you want? You want to start with the
reveal.
question, or you want to start with your bracket?
Let's just start with the bracket reveal because that's easy. So last week I talked to you guys about a new bracket, a non-force user bracket that was going to come out. We're going to start a whole new competition and voting soon. So I revealed the bracket yesterday via Instagram post and a story, but I just wanted to show this to you guys and break down the matchups for y'all on the podcast. So
I'll let you know I made him take Princess Leia off.
Yeah, I did have Princess Leia on initially. But then Matt was like, technically, she is a Force user. And there is another person on here that you could argue is a Force user, but I let him go. And so let me just run through the first round of matchups and how they will play out. So number 1 seed, I listed as Chewbacca because I do think that Chewbacca is probably
he's like
best.
5,000 years old and has murdered and killed a ton of bad guys.
Yeah, so he's our number 1 seed, and he will be up against our number 16 seed in Lando Calrissian in the first round.
That's actually a great pairing, just based on kind of their reunion in Empire Strikes Back.
Exactly. So that's just a fun one to imagine. Our 8 versus 9. The number 8 seed, we have Boba Fett, and our number 9 seed is Finn. And I know that some people out there will say, well, Finn's Force sensitive. It was revealed at the end of episode 9.
And when he's doing that impression, he's talking about me. Like that.
Yes.
He's making fun of me because I called him on that one too. But I was like, just fucking leave it.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I justify leaving Finn is that, like, we never see him actually use the Force. None of his fighting, in my opinion, was Force assisted.
You're right.
It was that towards the end of the films, he realized like his Force awoke. He
was getting the sensing stuff, kind of like how Leia's awoke with Luke and hearing shit through the Force. So I agreed with the caveat. We'll run with it. Yes. I will tell him I did try to fight him on Boba Fett being 8.
I know, yeah.
So if we're going movie Fett should have been 16.
I know. In the way that I positioned it, I was like, I put him right in the middle because I know that technical, aspects of his performance in the movies and everything, it's
Kung Fu getting pissy about Finn's Force powers.
I mean, it was not revealed in 7.
It was not revealed. It was possibly hinted.
No, he said that he shook off his conditioning, but then we also found out that Janna and everybody on Endor also shook off their conditioning. Right. So are they all Force users now? Intern?
He is right, though. I fought the intern tooth and nail over. I think you did, too. We kind of tag team at Celebration last year. We're like, no, motherfucker. When he looks up in the sky, that everyone's looking up in the sky when the Hosnian system crashes. But in the end, I'll give it to him. He was justified in Tross, so.
Yeah. So yes, it was revealed at the end that he has Force sensitivity. Yeah. It's fine. He never used there's no way that he used the Force assist.
You're right, man. You're right. I like I said, to me, the bigger beef I have is Bozo Fett being 8 and not 16.
I know. Yes, that one is just purely based off of the way that
fans I know.
So Han Solo is our number 4 seed. He will be going up against Poe Dameron, our number 13 seed, in the next matchup. Then we have Jango Fett as the 5 seed against Enfys Nest, the 12 seed.
That was another one where it's like, I don't know, but sometimes you just got to roll.
That's what I said. Like, Jango is higher than Boba, hands down. Because Jango fucked up Obi-Wan. In that fight,
it was a good fight. Yeah, I mean, for a non-Force user versus a Force user, he gave him a run for his money.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you that. I totally blanked that one out. So because I just think of him and his pit charge where he's like, and my head's cut off. So he died just as bozo-like as his clone son. Yeah.
The number 2 seed is Captain Rex. And he will be going up against the number 15 seed Cartho Nassi from the Old Republic video games.
Yeah, I like Rexa too. I mean, just based on what he did Clone Wars final season, then just really his Clone Wars heroics in general and Rebels. So yeah.
Yeah. So Rex was an easy 2 seed for me in this one. The number 7 seed is Bosk, going up against number 10 seed Cad Bane. Cad Bane was I feel like 7 and 10 could have been flipped here. Like Cad Bane could have been 7 and then Bosk could have been 10. But I wanted
that's who it was. I tried to argue Nick to replace Jango and to switch Jango and Cad solely based on Cad's badassness from the Clone Wars.
I know, yeah. I agree that Cad is good. I like him, but that like the thing that really stood out to me about Jango was just that fight with with Obi-Wan in episode 2 and like how he did really well there. I mean, we know that he was an infamous bounty hunter, and that's why they chose him to be like the specimen from which all clones were created. He's a little bit higher.
That's fine.
But
that's fine.
The number 3 seed Mando versus number 14 seed Jyn Erso.
Yep.
I don't see this going well for Jyn. And then the number 6 seed Cara Dune versus the number 11 seed Canderous Ordo. That is another Old Republic video game.
Yeah, he threw in some Swago characters there. Swago's keeping their names alive. Carth and Canderous.
Carth and Canderous made their way in there.
Canderous is a Mandalorian, though, right?
He is. He's a Mando, and he fought in the Mandalorian Wars. So he has a good resume under his belt, killing some Jedi during that war and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that could have been added here. I mean, do you add in Forlom? Do you add in Zuckuss? I chose not to put droids in because I was like, do you add IG, 88 or 11?
There you go. Now you have your next bracket, Battle of the Droids.
Battle of the Droids. I mean, you could bring in.
I want Chopper number 1 seed.
I was gonna say you got Chopper, you got R2D2, you got HK47, IG11, IG88.
Yeah, you could do a droid ones 100%. You could totally do a droid one.
Yeah,
you could even do astromech only, and then bipedal or humanoid droids.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, we got to keep drawing this shit out. We got to keep letting people pretend that we care about what they say.
Yeah. So this is the battle bracket for the non-Force users. I'm going to launch the first
so look
battle,
for
which
it.
is Chewbacca versus Lando Calrissian.
And vote correctly, you dummies. Vote in the poll, don't leave comments.
Yes, vote in the go to the stories and vote in the poll.
The static posts in our feed, that is your sign to go look for the story so you can vote and we can get the data. We love the comments. I'm not saying don't comment. We like hearing kind of your reasons, but they don't get counted. So
yeah, so go on. I literally put on the post, I'm like, go vote in our stories now. So just do that. And then the second fan interaction question that we had for this week was around the name. What do you people want us to call you now? We've been calling you assholes for a little bit, and
like a bunch of dildos.
I think rightfully so.
Like such a jerk off podcast we are, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. So we got a ton of great responses. I think over 50.
Well, yeah, there's a question. I'll quick bring up some of the responses before we reveal the final 4 that we got down to. So here you go, starting with Dyad Disciples, Sarlacc Flossers, Fandalorians, Faraway Fans, the Sandcrawlers, the Utinis, the Nasties, the Binks Brigade, the Uncivilized, the Jawas, the Old Timers, Rogue Walkers, Nerf Herders, Scruffy-looking Rogues, Battalion, Legion, Rebels, Empire, Garrison, Outer Rim Resistance, Younglings, Midichlorians, Keepers of the Pieces, Foundlings, Fan Troopers, Swats, Soldiers of the Swoots, the SW Timers, Little Ewoks, Wills, 501, the Dewana Wanga, Grand Army, the Assholes, the Good Batch, Star Wars Time, Showstoppers, SWTS Finest, Underground, and the Bandits. So thank you, my friends.
Yes, thank you all for your suggestions, for your names that you threw out there.
And
but
here
we have whittled it down to 4.
And we had 5, but technology is limiting us on IG, so you only get 4.
IG only lets you vote.
The fifth one that got cut was Swats.
Was the Swats.
Yeah, I just liked it. Even though it almost sounds a little too much like we're trying to say swastika, but the Swats. It was one of those good abbreviations. So here they are. Our final 4 are the Uncivilized.
the Fandalorians, the Daewani Wangas, and then we kept the assholes in there.
Yeah.
So
the assholes, I mean, literally 3 of you put it in there, so we decided it had to get thrown back up. So that's what we got. I mean, if you want my personal pick, I absolutely love the Daewani Wangas. And that's what I believe Bib Fortuna says at the opening of Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Daewani Wanga.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Uncivilized because it's right in our name too. So the way that this will break down now is you have these 4 that will be voted on, and it's going to be a 4-way vote. So you'll have A, B, C, D, and then the top 2 vote getters from here will get the final showdown. There will be another vote with just the last 2, and then whoever wins that final vote between the 2 will be the official name. Right.
And you know, I'm sensing it right now. I'm getting a force vision, knowing the types of pricks in this live stream right now. Those of you in the comments, I'd say it's a 90% chance that we land right back on the assholes for the name of the super fans. So,
hey, look, at that point, then you can say like you chose that name for yourself.
Yeah, I won't feel so bad. I won't feel so bad. You know, just sometimes, trust me, you guys know I got a fucking horrible mouth. I mean, it's ridiculous. But there are times when I'm listening back, I'm like, I sound like the biggest unintelligent dipshit cave dweller. So if I could remove one repeated swear term out just by calling you guys assholes, I'll still call you assholes. We just won't refer to you officially as the assholes.
Yeah.
But keep an eye out. Like Nick said, this vote will be going out this week. Yes. So. I know everyone in here in this chat. I know 100% just because I've said it now that you're going to vote the assholes. I get that. I'm going to put my force powers out there for Daewani Wangas. I just fucking love that, man. It's so random. And
you want to say that every time?
Yes, I like saying it. I think if someone came in and listened to the show and they weren't used to it, they'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm going to keep listening to hear what it is and how do I get into Daewani Wangas. Yes, so that's what I will be voting for on at least 2 of my IG accounts.
There we go. So I appreciate everybody coming out.
Yeah, it was fun. I did.
It
was fun for Nick and I to look at some of these, and you know the big list there. We did have some repeats. That's why Fandalorians is up there, and of course assholes. But again, the Daewani Wangas, man, I love it.
Yeah, I mean there was the midichlorians. I know that people were just putting that out there to be fucking dicks. The Good Batch was a good one too.
I like that.
There was a lot of solid ones.
The other one with Daewani, it's just when you say it, you almost have to add an accent to it too. Like Daewani Wanga. Yeah, so
you got to talk like Bib. So good stuff there. Keep your eyes out for not only the battle post, but for the fan name vote as well. They'll all be up this week, and by next cast, we will have our winner.
That's why I love you guys.
You
bunch of fucking assholes. You really are.
There we go. I didn't put this in there, but Trevor did comment on the post and said that we should have a lottery.
No, he just put it up in the chat here. You should hold a lottery to see who gets to pick the name.
Yes.
Yeah, we might do it, but I have a.
But what if we pick your name then, Trevor? What if you get? I
have a sick feeling that the final 2 is going to be the assholes, and definitely not the one I like. So. We'll see.
The Fandalorians is a very.
It's not. They're the top 4 for a reason. I'm just my personal choice, just because of how it sounds. The way I'll use it is 100% the Daewani Wangas. I mean, it's so fucking great. Who picked that one? Are they in here? Is it an actual super fan, or was it someone else?
I don't know.
Right, we don't need to. I mean, if you find it later, we'll bring it up. But whoever picked that one, you're my buddy.
Yeah, that was a solid call out. Padawans was on there too. All
right.
I don't know.
All right, so as Nick is looking at, or maybe we'll look for it later and we'll talk about it next week, or we'll just probably fucking forget about it because that's how we roll.
Matt Jessup.
Oh, good. Yeah, Funko Pop photographer. Love it. Good job, Matt.
Matt Jessup.
If you're not listening, you're an asshole. All right, well, man, I think it's that time, right? It is. It's about that time for the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week. Nick did it again. He picked his top 5, and I'm pretty sure he included a first-time feature who became a first-time top 5er. Nick,
it's very possible.
Nick is getting good at this. This is like 3 or 4 times he's done this in as many casts. So he's feeling the new artist, which means using the tags, motherfuckers. Use the tag.
It works and it helps. And yeah, I mean, we have 2 brand new feature artists in the top 5 this week, but this week is also the specialty week of Matt breaking down one of his shots.
Yeah, which I haven't looked at yet. I always save that fresh so I can vomit on it with as much venom as possible.
There we go. So,
all right, let's start it up, man. Who do we got first?
Yeah. Kick off the top 5 with one of our goats, with one of our good friends, one of
He's in the chat
our podcast
too.
Stand-ins. This is at Sir Dork 730 at Jared, Jared, our good friend. What I like about this shot is I believe is this using the brand new, like the newly released, the gaming grade.
Yeah. He's been hitting everyone's mailboxes. I have him too. I've actually taken a shot of him, believe it or not, and I'm probably going to delete it now looking at Jared's. So
what we have here from Jared is a really awesome concept shot, and we know that Jared Sir Dork is known for exploding figures with fire and fireworks, but in this one he went with the liquid route, and we have the blue Stormtrooper gaming grade figure from EB Games, from GameStop, running through water. And what's really cool about this is, one, the way that he kind of, I don't know if it's the way that he lit it or if it's the way, like what he did in post, but the figure looks really fucking awesome. Like the glowing eyes and the side flares on the helmet, the way that he illuminated the arm.
Yeah, like that's one of my favorite touches there, because I did talk about this. I mean, there is some see-through parts of this figure, and if you do light it correctly, you don't even need to add post effects to it. This one, Nick, I don't know if you looked how he did it. The motherfucker got in his bathtub for this one.
I did not.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like one of those old school tubs, got the tub in there, threw his loom cubes into the water. They are waterproof, so he wasn't being his typical destructive self just to destroy. But yeah, he's in his bathtub, threw the loom cubes there, and I think he did the patented Sir Dork water flip with his hand. And just took a bunch of shots, and then I'm assuming he either got one perfect snap like this, or I know he likes to layer shots in by wiping parts of one shot away to expose the other. So yeah, it's just, I mean, this is prototypical Sir Dork. It's explosive without fire, if that makes sense. It's icy, if you will.
Yes.
It's cooler than a polar bear's toenails, right? No, it was a great shot of this guy. This figure,
it's the first one that we've really seen of this figure too, which
I've got some others. Yeah, there's some other people that have done some good ones, much better than myself. But the figure he's weird to shoot because of his color scheme, the translucence parts, or it can catch light oddly. So like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to keep my shots because I did them outside, didn't really fuck around with anything but some atmosphere aerosol. Which doesn't really make this guy shine, get his black popping like Jared did here. So definitely, you had the Sir Dork literally playing in his bathtub with rubber duckies, loom cubes, and Star Wars figures.
There we go. So at Sir Dork 730, always a good follow, always a good dude.
Yeah, look at his account. He always tells you how he created something.
And that's what's really cool is that Jared doesn't keep secrets. Like he wants to educate the fan base. He wants to show other artists who may be new to the the hobby how to do things like this. I mean, and that's
his whole YouTube and TikTok is now dedicated to showing people how to do bitchin' looking Star Wars photography, action figure photography, but mostly Star Wars. And speaking of TikTok, I mean, this guy, he's like a master of social media now. I mean, he got the initial Facebook bounce on his IG to turn him into the Sir Dork that we know. But TikTok, he did all that on his own. He's got like over 60,000 over there already. Damn. And he's a good TikToker. I mean, at this point, I think I've decided, fuck TikTok. It's not like, oh, I'm 40. I don't like, it's none of that. It's just, how many other social media platforms can I try to get on and actually get a bounce and go viral? It ain't happening. That's okay.
Yeah.
I've come to that realization. I don't need to fucking stress.
TikTok is purely business for me. Like, I need to learn TikTok because that is the next marketing platform.
I know. I mean,
social.
it's a big one out there. Like I said, I mean, I'm telling you, Sir Dork, chime in if I'm full of shit, but I think he blew up, like started at nothing. And within a few months now, he's 60,000, if not more than his IG. But he does good TikTok videos. 1-6 Shooter, he does some fun TikTok. Black Series does some TikTok now. Plastic Action does some TikTok now. Jason B, Michael, TikTok. I'm not doing it. Fuck off, TikTok.
Yeah. I don't know if we have the kind of content for TikTok, because we don't have like you guys, you toy photographers and artists and stuff like that. You can post up like, you know, your behind the scenes shots and, you know, your stuff like that. For us, I mean, we would basically have to like clip certain like 2-minute sections of conversation.
It's not even like for us. It would almost have to be just a generic Star Wars account that you would tag our show and shit. But you'd basically throw up like a graphic and you'd put a filter on, then you'd like flash in another Han and be like, oh, I know, you know, like that. Just get it on loop and try to do some stupid video like that. So yes, I get it, Sir Dork. It's a great way to reach people. I just, at this point in time, it's like I've never popped anywhere, so what's the fucking point? I mean, I need to just
take the TikTok sensation.
Oh, fuck you, Nick! Don't you start. That is the thing that always gets me down these paths. Like, ooh, if I make one more video, it might be this video. It's that gaming thing. One more play, one more turn. No. It ain't happening for me. I'm content with what we are. If anything, I need to blow up now. It's this show. Fuck me. Fuck Haywood Pop. All that shit can die.
All right. So
but yeah, that's Sir Dork.
Beautiful stuff. Great follow on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to follow them. Just go like the content.
Sorry, we had someone chimed in here on the chat. Tones said at 51, the tech is passing me by. It took an age to learn Instagram, for fuck's sake. So I think it's safe to say Tones is passing on the talk.
Yeah, I have a TikTok. I barely use it.
I know, Jared. I've literally downloaded it. I've looked at it, and I've been like, I have ideas for the toy photography, but it's just I don't need to take that medicine again where I'm reminded that people don't fucking like my content. That's enough. I've already had my balls ripped off by IG, so I'll leave it at that.
Until they build an algorithm for what you call it, for media showcasing on TikTok, then everybody's got the same shot.
I'll get on TikTok if Jared promises to only promote my account over and over and over again until I have at least double, 10,000 or more followers. So there you go.
There we go. All right. Next up in the top 5 is a brand new account in the top 5. This is at pop.blues on IG.
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, this is a really cool concept shot. So basically taking the training that Luke was giving Rey on Acto in episode 8 and TLJ and applying that backwards. So this is probably something that Ben Solo went through during his training days at Jedi Academy. So what we see is old man Luke in the background and the focus of the shot being Ben Solo doing the old rock and lightsaber training that Rey was doing. Can he stop at the perfect time and not hit the rock? And we can see that Ben is having some trouble with it. So he's got you see the lightsaber in motion, a really awesome post-processing effect done by Pop Blues. You see the shattering of the rock and everything, and then also just that mean face that Ben has on. Ben, we know he was always angry, and it's definitely captured in this shot. I think what drew me to this shot initially, Nick, is it gives you that, like, not even a what if, but like, man, I would have loved to have seen more stories centered around Ben Solo. We should have got more flashbacks. I read an article this past week where, Adam Driver essentially cooked up an entire backstory for Ben Solo because there was none. Like, he in his head had to figure out how could this guy born of 2 rebellion heroes become so fucking angry and disenfranchised with good guys. So he built up in his head that, Han and Leia, they were always too concerned with pushing their careers in the rebellion, the Republic. And eventually they just ignored him.
And that's why
and
he
they
had
shoved
so
him
much
off on
anger. Yeah,
Uncle
exactly.
Luke.
And I feel like we should have got more of Ben Solo in the films to kind of highlight that dynamic character. I mean, he, as Nick has always said, Kylo Ren was probably the deepest character in the series, and we still really didn't even get much about him at all.
Yeah, I mean, to me, he was the most interesting because he was the final Skywalker. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. After, Luke passes away at the end of TLJ, like, Ben Solo is the final of the proper Skywalker line. Like, there's no other Skywalkers left now. And it's I don't want to say it's a shame, but it leaves room for his character to be expanded on in the expanded universe, whether it be through novels or through comics. We already got the Rise of Kylo Ren story.
But it was so little. Exactly, dude. I mean, we're talking like a nipple size worth of Ben Solo training at the Academy. And that's why this shot, it's like, I would have liked to have seen this. I would have liked to have seen the angry young Ben and Luke trying to calm him down.
Dude, to me, you need a series. You need a series that bridges the gap. Not a written series. I'm talking about either an animated series. You probably can't do live action. An animated series that gives you the context to the new trilogy that Clone Wars gave to the prequel trilogy. Because if
the peanut gallery is like, but Ben's a Solo. Well, yeah, no shit. Who's his mom, Greg?
Yeah, his mom is fucking Leia Skywalker.
What are you talking about? Greg, go back to bed.
Message retracted. Yes, he is the last of the ancestral Skywalkers. He is the last.
Yes, he has Skywalker blood. It's plain and simple. He's got it. Rey does not. Rey's got some funky clone bullshit.
Yes, clone blood.
Clone jizz.
So I think
he did retract it too.
It's okay, Greg.
Greg, we know you love you, buddy. It's all right.
But it's the perfect opportunity to have a series. But it's just like, does Disney and does Lucasfilm want to use Luke Skywalker as a primarily animated character?
Well, animated. That might be the only way they'll go now, because I'm pretty sure Hamill, again, money could change his tune, but he's out.
Yeah, Hamill's not going to do. I mean, but here's the thing: like, he's been a voice actor for a long time. If they positioned it to him, like, hey, Luke Skywalker again. Yes, I know you're kind of disenfranchised, or kind of done with Star Wars, but you do voice acting. You are Luke Skywalker. Like, would you come back? Even if the series isn't focused on him, if he's like a recurring, like a secondary, and your main characters are Ben Solo and the kids at the Academy,
right.
Like, I think that's the way to do it.
Well, I'd be all over it. I don't know. I think we're done getting anything Skywalker specific. I think they're going to stick to those guns for as long as they can until they need money and to shoot steroids back into the license, which to me is blasphemous to even say. But we're kind of at that point where Disney feels they need some sort of jolt to the movie side of Star Wars. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So unfortunate stuff there, but still an awesome shot by @pop.blues.
Damn straight.
@pop.blues on Instagram. Beautiful job. Very good concepting and execution. Next up is another.
This is the new one, I believe.
Okay, so this is not only a first-time feature from Matt, but a first-time top fiver.
This is the double noob.
So this is @fig_fanboy on IG, and what he has is a really awesome kind of duality of the Force type of shot breakdown, where you have Ahsoka from Rebels standing back to back with Darth Vader. Both of them have their lightsabers ignited, and then the shot is kind of cut in half by not only the figures themselves, but also the way that the smoke, the aerosol here is illuminated. So half the shot you have framed in red and half the shot in blue. And it really is a very poignant shot, especially if you've watched Rebels and the showdown between Ahsoka and Vader that happens on Malachor. And just knowing the relationship of these two characters even further expands in season 7 of Clone Wars. It's just a really well executed shot, very simple, not something that,
Totally.
that, you know, is action oriented or anything, just well executed and well thought out.
Yep. I mean, it's my style of shot, you know, nothing too snazzy, not many effects, nothing really in the background. It's just, let's work on the light and the figures and try to shape a nice looking shot from it. So I do like the light split. It looks like he's probably got some sort of plexiglass there and the lights are underneath. They're probably propped up. You get that nice split. And then, as you said, you're using some form of aerosol, fog, whatever, to kind of accentuate the lighting there. But I also kind of like how it's a silhouette type of a shot. You know, there's more color than just pure silhouette. But Vader in particular, his top is almost all a silhouette, and he always looks good as a silhouette. And I'm just going to say silhouette one more time because I think I have never said silhouette this many times in one sentence. It's a fun word to say. Silhouette.
So, at Fig_fanboy, excellent job here. Just really capturing the essence of these two characters and then, you know, juxtaposing them against each other. So, well done, sir. Next up, and I know that Matt scolded this person in the share comment that for the shot.
And he doesn't give a fuck. Like I at this point, I've either pissed off Zay or he truly just doesn't give a fuck because he doesn't even like respond to the.
I think he came back. He came back in the comments for this one, and he said that he's a slacker in terms of the.
Okay, I didn't, because a lot of times, you know, this little thing I do every day takes almost an hour of my time. So once the last share's out, I'm pretty much off of Star Wars Time IG for the next hour or so. I don't really follow up and look for comments on these.
Yeah,
but I did. I'm begging him now. We still need some of the other ones. I mean, Plastic Action forgets or just doesn't care. I know he likes when we talk about it. It's like, come on. I see some of the tags people use still. It's like literally some of the tags are like circle jerk photography, or, you know, go fuck your mom. It's like, just throw Star Wars Time show on there. It's not that hard.
Yeah, it helps. It helps us out. Helps us. Find
I just want to see the shit sometimes. Yeah. Like I literally, I'll go weeks, if not months, before I see a Daz Tibble new share, Venomous. I love all these people, but thanks to IG's nonsense, if we don't go to their account and like 50 shots in a row, we're not going to see it unless you tag shit. So yes, part of it is me being a little whiny bitch and saying use our fucking tag. But the other part is we miss a lot of stuff still because of IG. Yeah,
it's very true. So anyway, Zay here, at Black Series BLKSRS on Instagram, has a fucking incredible Boba shot, like Boba with the jetpack just fucking blasting off.
He looks like he's SpaceX, right? I mean, he looks like a fucking rocket ship taking off.
SpaceX rocket. Oh yeah.
And this is all practical, by the way.
That's so nuts that that's all practical.
Yeah, because he posted a video, and this is great. I mean, this is I know Sir Dork gets into this. This is probably one of everything Kylo's specialties is the dirt and dust particles. But this is literally, I mean, he had Boba hanging, and then he had a pile of dust, mud, flour. I forget the substance. But then he just got one of the old drain pumpers that some of us have in our toolkit. You pump up the pressure, kind of like a super soaker. No, I'm not sitting here jerking myself off with a shake weight if you're watching on YouTube. But you pump it up, build up the pressure, then just go, and it releases just a powerful gust of air that then kicks up this effect. So the fact that he got it to almost perfectly look like he was taking off with force is amazing. I don't know if he had the layer to get that one or if he just got one perfect snap, but yeah, that's all practical there. Outside of Zay's or Black Series patented lens flare. Yeah, him and JJ share that.
That aficionado, that fandom of the lens flare. But one person in the comments on this one posted, this is how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. But yeah, I mean, this is it's just such a well executed shot for everything from what you were describing with the dirt or whatever substance he used for the explosion to the pose to the fire coming out of its jetpack. Even like you see like remnants of destruction that he just cast on the ground with a bunch of dead stormtroopers.
Out.
I mean, top.
Yeah, it's sweet. And really, again, Black Series is another one that shares everything he does. I think he TikToks it now too.
There we go.
You can learn a lot from this guy. I mean, his work looks like he spent days setting it up, but I think this shot, he shot it on a piece of like a concrete floor, probably in his garage, with a piece of blackboard behind it.
Just, it's so crazy how you can get like Sir Dork in his bathtub, like how you can get these incredible shots with such minimal setup and just like easy, just approaching it with a very easy mindset.
It's a guy that does some super detailed setup sometimes, and you can't really appreciate until you see the behind the scenes, is 1/6 shooter. I mean, that guy will have like a fucking movie screen as the very back layer, real trees, smaller real trees, real rocks, a boulder. I mean, it is insane the layers he builds into his dios. Yeah. But
I remember looking at some of the behind the scenes for his shots. One in particular that I remembered was like when the Sith Trooper figure just came out and he had the one of like the sunken Death Star.
Right.
Like that one was
all practical too. I mean, at the very end, it was probably a digital shot, but layers in between were practical stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't stress enough sometimes, for those of you that want to try doing more of these particle or firework bokeh type of shots, having a nice dark background is one of the easiest ways to get that effect to pop. If you try to do it with too much light in the back, you're going to lose the fireworks, especially. And with this, with the particle dust and that, sometimes you can even get better ones with a more lit background. But I can tell you right now, if you just put a nice stark black background behind your figures, any of your miscellaneous shit lighting blow up stuff is going to pop that much more. So
some tips.
There you go.
Tips from Haywood.
Yeah, don't take them from me. I've taken them from real photographers. I just reuse them. So.
At BLKSRS Black Series on Instagram. Beautiful job as always. Dude's just a fucking killer photographer. So next up, our final for the top 5 before we get into the Haywood Pop Shot breakdown of the week is from Phase Runner. At Phase_Runner.
It's another one, like a guy, he doesn't use the tag, but someone we love. I mean, I remember when we found Phase Runner slightly before Tross came out, and he was doing all those wicked posters for that. So yeah. Luckily, sometimes an Explore IG will be like, oh, hey, you're a Star Wars account that clicks on nothing but Star Wars, so we'll show you some Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, we'll show you this Star Wars thing here, and this is a fucking killer shot.
Yeah.
I mean, Phase Runner is what you would call like a compositing artist, I guess you would say. Like, he takes, these aren't toys. These are just like, he's taking these figures, these digitally rendered figures of Obi-Wan and Vader, and then putting them together in this. Yeah,
I
really
think he creates all this shit. Like, I don't think those are figures. He arts them. That's what I'm just going to start saying, because we always get stupid with the real art. He just arts them. This isn't like toy photography. He arted that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And what we see here is just an absolutely incredible representation of old Obi-Wan versus Vader. So your episode 4 showdown in A New Hope, but you have so much more bleeding into it. The both of them using force powers towards each other in kind of like a reminiscent of Revenge of the Sith, when they're fighting on Mustafar and they shoot each other
like
backwards.
Right now I can see them now coming together in this painting and just waving their lightsabers in front of each other. Like that's next. Like, hey, look at this, man. I can wave my glow stick faster than you. Let's go to the rave.
But it's hard for me to like say any descriptors about this other than, oh wow, this looks fucking
that's
cool.
What I mean. That's why, dude.
Shit.
That's why I'm going as low level as possible now when we talk about real art, like traditional art, and just saying he arted it. Like, he arted Obi-Wan in a way that I love. He arted Vader in a way I love. I mean, it's almost like the Scene 38 reimagination, but dialed up on even more Star Wars steroids. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they're throwing the Force so hard at each other that it's almost like little midichlorians are flying through the air. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, you could almost see the midichlorians just through the Force. Is. And Phase Runner he does sell his artwork. So if you're he has officially licensed silkscreen and lithographs from Lucasfilm. I don't know how he did that.
So yeah, he's a real deal Star Wars artist. Like if he gets that stamp of approval, that's big.
Yeah, so you can go on to his IG. If you look right in his about section, you have the link, and you can kind of scroll through and buy any of those things that you see on there if you would like. So, yeah, just beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful
I'm
work
pulling up one now.
Faison.
He's got like this motion deal. Oh shit! It had sound. Did it break? Did anything break?
Everything's still okay.
All
on
right,
our
good.
side.
Okay, I'm gonna click.
He's got
off
a Last of Us Part 2 poster he made. He's got a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, so fantastic artist. Definitely does a lot of Star Wars art. So if you're not already following Phase Runner, which you probably are if you're a Star Wars Time Show fan, because I know we've talked about him before on the show during the top 5.
Yep.
But just reason we haven't seen more of his stuff is algo and lack of tagging. It really is getting to the point now where we follow enough people that we're not going to see everybody anymore. So if you want us to see, which we hope you do, again, we're just two assholes. I understand if you don't care, you probably shouldn't. But if you want us to see your awesome art, make sure to hashtag Star Wars Time Show on Instagram and tag us at Star Wars Time Show.
Yes. So at phase_runner, the final entry of this week's top 5. And that brings us to the Haywood Pop Shot Breakout of the Week.
Here comes the scroll.
Oh, what do we got here, Matt?
Okay. I don't know. It's not, I'm not that unhappy with it. This is actually one of my Haywood Pop mashup custom figs. I hate even using the term custom because I basically just took a head I paid someone to make and put it on a Kylo Ren figure. But just to describe the shot to those of you that aren't in the chat here watching on YouTube, the face sculpt is from Old Boy Cuts, and it's of old Luke Skywalker. So it's that great old Luke look, the beard, curmudgeon Luke, Jake Skywalker, if you will. Hey, look at that. Actually, I called him Jake Skywalker in the caption.
You did indeed.
So it's that head on top of the Force Awakens Kylo Ren body. All right. And that was my, hey, look, I'm so cool. I can mash parts together and create a new character. And his name's Jake Skywalker, because that's who Mark called Luke and TLJ, all that fun stuff. I don't remember, Nick, if this is the one that Mark himself actually liked, because I do have a Jake Skywalker shot that he liked, and he actually liked my like of him liking, if that makes sense.
There we go.
That was actually a big moment for me. I loved it. Anyone else in here that has had a celebrity, a Star Wars celebrity in particular, look at their shot, it makes you feel special, even though they're probably sitting on the pot just scrolling through it. Either way, Mark Hamill has seen some of my art. I can die. Actually, before I go into this, Nick, just give me a minute to promote something that will help us too. But last week, my episode of Toy Photocast dropped for Dakota's Patreon. So, if you pay for it, you already listened. And I just want to quickly thank those of you that did pay for it to listen, because I would not pay to listen to me ever. That's why we don't charge you for this stupid show. But great feedback from Red Dog 5, Articulated Time, Scott Blind, Work More or Less, Niels Van Real, and Optimus Crime. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you leaving those comments on my interview. But the reason I'm bringing this up is in the interview, among other things, I bitch and moan about myself and Instagram and how no one likes me. And also I promote the Star Wars Time Show. I've gotten good feedback. I was figuring people would be like, man, this guy's an asshole. But most people are like, you know what? I like the way you talk and the way you think and just the way you say things straight.
The way you say things. Yeah.
Well, I probably just went out there. I'm like, how the fuck do people get 1,000 likes on shots of toys, like with their smartphone in front of the package they just took the toy out of, right? Then you got people like me or other people that dedicate time to this with setups, and they get 200 likes. Anyways, that was kind of the gist of it. But Dakota asked me, he's like, from this hobby, what are some very memorable things that it has given you? And the first thing I talked about was, I don't know if it was this shot or another shot, but it was the fact that Mark Hamill himself, at one point in time in his life, scrolled past something I created and double tapped it. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
It is a great feeling, as sad and as pathetic that may sound, but someone growing up as a Star Wars fan to know that Mark Hamill, our Luke Skywalker, looked at something I created, liked it, and then when I said, wow, Mark liked it, liked that too, I was like, okay, fantastic. So anyways, back to the shot. So, whatever. It's not really a custom figure. It's just my half-ass attempt at it. But I did kind of like the way old Luke looked in Sith garb, if you will, or dark side garb.
Yeah.
And the sculpt itself is like, anyone could take a picture of this sculpt and it would look good. Old boy cuts. Most of us in toy photography, you're going to know who that is. If you're new, you got to check them out on Instagram or just Old Boy Cuts online. These people make insanely detailed head sculpt for 1/12 scale figures. So much so that I've probably spent upwards of $500 with these people at this point. I've just bought they just released Revenge of the Sith Anakin. I bought 2. Because I need one for my figure arts and my Black Series, and they just put up a Dooku sculpt of theirs for Black Series. So, anyways, back to my shot.
Where did you take it? Where was this background?
It would have been out on my card table right next to my house. I probably had some foam down and just took a bunch of sticks, broke them up, and jabbed them into the phone to create a tree look for the smaller figures.
Honestly, like that looks like real trees. So you did like a pretty good job.
That's a decent trick, but trust me, it's one that I've learned from other people. Sir Dork actually has videos out on making trees, this, that, and the other thing. It's kind of a no-frill shot, which sometimes is nice. I would argue at this stage later on, I probably should have had some atmosphere going, maybe even a rain effect, because it looks a little too plain the way it is, a little too clean. But overall, for a Haywood Pop shot, the pose isn't atrocious and robotic-like as most of my shots are. He looks like he could actually be alive and moving and not just like a statue, as some of my poses look. He
looks like a dark side user.
Yeah.
So this was posted January 9th, 2018. So when do you think you took this shot?
Oh, hell. I mean, when did The Last Jedi came out? 2017?
December 2017?
And so toys would have been coming out probably that summer or the fall prior. So yeah, it was at least 5 to 6 months before I put it out. So for me, that's a pretty quick turnaround.
There we go. So that's the end of the Haywood Pop Shop breakdown. That's the end of the top 5, and that is the end of the Star Wars Time Show, everybody.
Woo! We made it. Oh, before I go into the dance, though, other thing on IG, there's a hashtag going around, collector versus collection. Nick, we've been tagged multiple times.
Oh, geez. So what do we have to do?
I've done it for Haywood Pop, so I'm going to put it on you to do it for Star Wars Time Show.
Okay.
But what it is you create a collage, if you will, of 9 shots. So you got 3, 3, 3, right? And in the middle square, you put your little chubby head. So that's where the collector part comes in.
Okay.
And then the other squares you put your art. So for me, like if you look it up on my Instagram, I'll pull it up on the feed here. Bear with me. Here it is. Those of you watching on the video version, you can see it. Nick, feel free to do it if you want, or you can look after.
I am looking at it now.
So
yes.
We've all been sharing these, and it's actually been pretty cool because you get to see the people behind the camera, and a lot of times it's a shock. I mean, a lot of people are going to know what I look like because I do this stupid stuff. But I think you should do one, and maybe not just put like collection stuff, maybe put pictures of us or our stuff in there, our episodes, who knows?
I was going to say, I got to try to figure out what to fill the squares with.
Right. But, think about it, because we've been tagged a bunch of times, and that's the only reason I'm talking about this, because I have to say that I'm highly disappointed this tag came about when I'm not in one of my mega beard growing phases, because some of these toy photographers we talk about have got some boss beards. In particular, Papa Palpatine. I'm not kidding, and I wish he was on today, and I hope he listens. If he doesn't, one of you people tell him to go listen. That guy looks like the real-life version of Zangief from Street Fighter 2.
Oh man, I'm looking at Papa's now. He
Right?
does.
He looks like fucking Zangief, and he's trying to say he doesn't work out anymore. Like, what does that guy eat? Like, he must drink testosterone. now I know why he's, a little feisty sometimes. I mean, that guy has more testosterone flowing through him than I think a bodybuilder does. That's actually supplementing artificial testosterone. He is a man's man.
There we go. And then his brother, remember the Clone Troopers, also has one up. He's not rocking the long beard.
Other one I have to mention, because I did not picture it at all. But a Sith load of Lego looks like a Bulgarian Olympic wrestler. He too, again, is just swole as fuck, a huge beard, and he looks like he eats little kids for breakfast. And he makes some of the nicest little Lego scenes. It's just funny. So I've been having a good time with this tag. I usually don't like these tags where people are like, oh, let's all get in and do this dumb shit on social media. I am kind of that old curmudgeon when it comes to this, but this one's been fun, just seeing some people and what that face looks like behind the lens. So get out there, my friends. Check it out. Collector versus collection. Have some fun with it. My face is out there. I'm trying to get Nick to do it now too, but I had to mention Papa and a Sith load of Lego, because those dudes look like, again, they're from Siberia. They wrestle bears. I don't know. I mean, they are men's men, so I'll leave you with that. But let's move on to the dance. As Nick said, the top 5 is over. We've made it through another show. We've paid homage to our fans so they keep liking us, because in the end, that's the only reason we have a following, because we talk about our following. All right? So to get more of you followers, soon to be, who knows, assholes, Dewanawangas, Fandalorians, or the uncivilized, you need to head over to StarWarsTime.net, do a little shimmy shake, a little dipsy do, and click on the subscribe to podcast link and pick the podcast platform of your choice. I will say, I think some of the recent increase in our numbers is coming from Pandora, so thanks to those of you who have signed on through that platform. But we got them all, Nick. We've got Deezer, we got email, we've got iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Android, you name it, we're there, we're ready to be listened to. There's one caveat though. Once you're there, or if you're already there, leave your poor bros a rating or a review. If you're a YouTuber, click on the thumbs up, comment, share to your friends. Don't forget to subscribe too, and notify yourself when new videos come through. That way you'll never miss a live stream, because our dumbasses will never be on a set schedule. We could have easily made 2 o'clock today, but we still didn't make 2 o'clock today, because we are the Star Wars Time Show. There is no such thing as being punctual. All right? So keep at it. Keep promoting us. Use the damn hashtag on Instagram, you motherfuckers, and tag us on there as well, because that's how you will make it to the top 5 and be vaulted into Star Wars Time Show fan history, right? You could be the next Twinkle Tits like our buddy Greg from Australia. And besides, there is always time for Star Wars Time, so stop your bullshit. I'm talking to you, everything Kylo. There's always time for Star Wars Time. Not 4 days after the fact. There's always time. And remember, if you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.